Chapter 55:11. It was time to draw lots. On the Su royal family side, Xueqi was drawing lots. When the lots were being drawn, the elder, Tuoba Matian, was still sizing up Xueqi. Although he didn't say anything, everyone knew what his eyes meant. Xueqi was expressionless, and left after drawing lots. In any case, she had absolute confidence in Kong Xinmu in this ranking competition. Kong Xinmu had to get first place. Otherwise, she wouldn't have made such a bet with him, and even put herself and Xueqi on the line. She gave Kong Xinmu an opportunity. An opportunity for Kong Xinmu to obtain a heaven and earth saint quality. Since they made a bet, why not make two bets, and let Kong Xinmu obtain two heaven and earth saint quality? To the Su royal family, there wasn't much benefit. After all, one heaven and earth saint quality was given to Kong Xinmu, and one to Xueqi. However, this was equivalent to increasing the overall strength of the Su royal family. Xueqi returned. She opened the jade slip in her hand, and glanced at it. Everyone from the Su royal family's first match of the second round is in this jade slip. Kong Xinmu against the Jin royal family, Jin Luiyue. Su Tianhao against the Bing royal family, Ice Moon Silk. As the battle list was announced, everyone's expression changed. Kong Xinmu, Su Yi, and Xueqi, due to their excellent performance in the first round, persisting for 40 waves, were fighting against weaker opponents. Of course, there were some who weren't so lucky, such as Su Tianhao. He faced the Ice Moon Silk. The Ice Moon Silk's strength was definitely among the top of all the participating experts. It was at least top 10, or even top 5. And Su Tianhao. He thought he was the trump card of the Su royal family. But in reality, his battle strength might not necessarily be stronger than the Ice Moon Silk. The reason why the Ice Moon Silk faced Su Tianhao was because there were too few people in the younger generation of the Bing royal family. There were only a few people, and they couldn't even gather 9 people. Therefore, it was very difficult for Frozen Moon Silk to get a good result in the first round. But in terms of individual strength, she was very, very strong. Kong Xinmu had given her such an evaluation before, but Su Tianhao did not believe it. There were even people who ridiculed Kong Xinmu, asking if he had taken a fancy to the Ice Moon Silk. Naturally, Kong Xinmu couldn't be bothered with this. Next, Su Tianhao would have to fight against the Ice Moon Damask. Once the results of the battle were out, the situation would become clearer. Kong Xinmu said that the Ice Moon Silk was very strong. Whether it was true or not, Su Tianhao could experience it himself. I will fight against Ice Moon Silk. This Ice Moon Silk is a pretty good opponent. Su Tianhao stood up, obviously very confident. He was the strongest in the younger generation of the Su royal family. Could it be that he couldn't defeat the Ice Moon Damask? In Su Tianhao's eyes, Ice Moon Silk was a genius of the younger generation of the declining demon god race's royal family. How could she be compared to the #1 genius of a powerful royal family like him? Even if the Ice Moon Silk was strong, he, Su Tianhao, was definitely stronger. Su royal family, I will fight first. Kong Xinmu squinted his eyes. According to the results of the first round, from highest to lowest, Kong Xinmu was ranked first. Of course, Li Tianxiong and the others from the Li Tian clan were ranked before Kong Xinmu. It wasn't that the 9 people from the Li Tian clan were ranked before Kong Xinmu, but because they fought after the first round, they were naturally ranked first in the second round. Of course, this was under the situation where the results of the first round were the same. Otherwise, the better the results of the first round, the earlier they would fight. Li Tianxiong and the others were all the strongest in the Li Tian clan. In the second round, their opponents weren't particularly strong. Almost all of them were crushed. Li Tianxiong and the others won the first round. Next, it was Kong Xinmu's turn. Su Guai was the first to fight, defeating a demon god race youth from the declining royal family. Next was Su Yi. The 2 girls' opponents weren't strong either, only at the first level of Super Demon God. They didn't last long against the 2 girls before being defeated. To be honest, those who could reach the Transcendent God level before the age of 30 were no weaklings. But in a battle between the Demon God race's royal family, the first level of Super Demon God was not very good. Soon, it was Kong Xinmu's turn. Kong Xinmu's opponent was Jin Luiyue of the Jin royal family. She was a young girl in her early 20s, and the Jin royal family was a mid-tier demon god race royal family. The reason she didn't get a good result was because Jean Luiyue was said to be injured and was still in a serious state, so she couldn't use her full strength. Your name is Kong Shinmu, not Su. Jean Luiyue's expression eased slightly when she saw Kong Shinmu, who was only at the second level of Super Demon God. In her opinion, this Kong Shinmu was too easy to deal with. Even though she was severely injured, she was still a Super Demon God level 4. Let's begin. Kong Shinmu didn't waste time with her and directly transformed into the body of a 16-headed heavenly demon god. Jean Luiyue frowned slightly. She felt Kong Shinmu's strong fighting spirit and felt a strong suppression. This surprised her. A second-level transcendent god can make me feel suppressed? Jean Luiyue found it unbelievable. She immediately activated the demon god race's bloodline, and a terrifying demonic aura exploded from her body. Her entire body turned into a golden demon god. Golden full moon demon god. The Jean royal family's demon god race's bloodline was still very strong. She had just transformed into a demon god when waves of terrifying golden blades spread out. Every golden blade contained terrifying lethality. If an ordinary second-level super demon god encountered this, they would definitely be in big trouble. What a pity! In Kong Shinmu's eyes, these golden blades didn't have the slightest bit of pressure. He could even use his 16-winged heavenly demon god body to block them. But he didn't underestimate his opponent. Who knew if there was some hidden power in Jean Luiyue's golden blades? Demonic Wings Tornado. A terrifying supreme divine demon martial skill was released from Kong Shinmu's back. The 16 heavenly demon wings on his back completely unfolded, and a violent demonic aura tornado was released through the formless weapon. Chen Xing Kong Shinmu only used half the power of the offensive battle pattern. But the supreme divine demon martial skill, Demonic Wings Tornado, seemed to want to destroy heaven and earth. It enveloped all of his opponent's golden blades and engulfed them one by one. Then, the Demonic Wings Tornado whistled and landed directly in front of Jean Luiyue's golden full moon demon god body. Defend! The golden full moon demon god body suddenly released a golden light, like a golden wall, blocking the Demonic Wings Tornado. Unfortunately, she was injured after all. Even though Kong Shinmu only used half the power of the offensive battle pattern, Jean Luiyue couldn't block it at all. Her entire body was pushed back by the Demonic Wings Tornado, and wounds quickly appeared on the surface of the giant golden full moon demon god body. I admit defeat. Chapter 55:12. Jean Luiyue admitted defeat. She was not the only one who did not expect it. The others also did not expect that she would lose to a level 2 transcendent god from the Su royal family. As expected of Emperor Xi's personal disciple, he adapted to the demon god race's fighting style so quickly. He is very strong, but he is only strong among those of the same level. He still can't win against those who are truly strong. That's right. Jean Luiyue was only injured earlier. Otherwise, she would not have lost to this person. Everyone whispered to each other and discussed spiritedly. They pointed at Kong Shinmu. No one could see how strong Kong Shinmu's technique was. In reality, Kong Shinmu did not use any strong techniques. In order to make others underestimate him, so that he could take them by surprise and obtain an easier victory, he hid himself. Not only did he only use half of the formless weapon Chen Xing's battle patterns, but he also only used the heaven-level demon wing tornado. This super divine demon skill was one of the 6 super divine demon skills that he had learned from Su Jiyu. He had already comprehended it to the extreme sage level. Thus, the demon wing tornado he used now did not even use a tenth of his full strength. After all, Jean Luiyue is injured. Her true strength is only level 2 transcendent god. Kong Shinmu did not need to use his true strength at all. He did not even use his devouring power and easily won the battle. He returned to his seat. Not bad. Su Tianhao faintly nodded and said. He felt that Kong Shinmu did not embarrass the Su royal family. As the strongest of the Su royal family's younger generation, he should be praised to show his magnanimity. Of course, he was not really praising Kong Shinmu. He only thought that he represented everyone's opinion. Kong Shinmu ignored him. He returned to Su Yi and Su Yi's side. Then, the other matches continued. Not long after, it was finally Su Tianhao's turn to fight against the 0-degree demon god inheritor of the Bing royal family, Ice Moon Silk. Kong Shinmu's expression became serious. Both of them were supreme demon god level 5 existences. Although he predicted that Su Tianhao would lose, he also hoped that Su Tianhao could perform at his best. It would be best if Su Tianhao could squeeze out all the strength of the Ice Moon Silk and display it. In that case, it would be much easier to deal with the Ice Moon Silk in the future. Frozen Moon Silk. I did not expect that my opponent would be you. However, I will not show any mercy. Su Tianhao entered the arena. He turned into a 16-winged heavenly demon god and said lightly. He had trained with the Ice Moon Silk before, so they could be considered to be acquainted. I won't hold back either. Ice Moon Silk's pretty face was cold as she spoke, unwilling to show weakness. This made Su Tianhao a little unhappy. Previously, when they were training together, he felt that the Ice Moon Silk wasn't as strong as him. Now it was the same. Yet, the Ice Moon Silk actually said the same thing to him? This girl was too arrogant. 0-degree demon god. Unleash. The Ice Moon Ribbon transformed into a slender demon god whose entire body was covered in ice. She looked slender and gave off an extremely cold feeling. Let's start. Su Tianhao sneered and released all his strength. He did not hold back. He immediately unleashed his most powerful technique. Moreover, a supreme divine demon weapon long saber appeared in his hand. He waved it and slashed out several pitch-black saber gleams. Heavenly Demon Drawing Saber Slash. The pitch-black saber gleams exploded and almost shattered the void. They instantly swept towards the front of the Ice Moon Silk's 0-degree demon god. These pitch-black saber gleams contained the unparalleled inheritance power of a 16-winged heavenly demon god. Every saber gleam contained surging demonic aura as though it could split the heavens. Facing the terrifying pitch-black saber gleams, the Ice Moon Silk's 0-degree demon god remained calm. She merely waved her hand, and terrifying icy demonic aura surged out of her body. Extreme Frost Kingdom. Waves of turbulent icy demonic aura surged out from her demonic body. The terrifying icy demonic aura surrounded her demonic body and formed an extremely low-temperature domain. In this domain, everything, including time, seemed to have slowed down. As for the saber gleams, they seemed to have fallen into a quagmire and were trapped in this extreme frost kingdom. Although they caused many cracks in the air, they were ultimately unable to harm the Ice Moon Silk. Frost Kingdom explode. The Ice Moon Silk's 0-degree demon god was completely surrounded by an icy barrier. Immediately afterward, the Frost Kingdom that she had just created exploded. Endless ice scattered in all directions. The temperature of the entire gladiator arena dropped to its lowest point. Ice shards flew everywhere. It was as though the heavens had turned into ice cubes and shattered. Even Su Tianhao's 16-winged heavenly demon god body started to freeze. Demonic Wings Battle Rampage. The 16 wings on Su Tianhao's back erupted with tyrannical power. He used his strongest supreme divine demon skill, Sky Demon Wings Crisscrossing Battle. He had already cultivated the supreme divine demon skill to the highest level, the supreme divine demon realm. He had a deep understanding of this demonic skill. The only pity was that he could not use the full power of the 16-winged heavenly demon god race inheritance. He could only use the power of the 12-winged heavenly demon god race inheritance. He had not even fully mastered the power of the 14-winged heavenly demon god race inheritance. But even if he had only mastered a portion of the 14-winged heavenly demon god race inheritance, his combat strength was still worlds apart from when he had been a month ago. Break for me! Demonic aura constantly erupted from his heavenly demon god race wings, forming howling vortexes that crushed the surrounding ice shards into powder. The Wing Battle Rampage's demonic chi vortex exploded in an instant, spreading waves of demonic aura to the surroundings. The Ice Moon Silk's extreme frost kingdom was quickly shattered by the waves of demonic aura. Countless ice shards danced in the air before shattering into shards. 0-degree demon god heavenly thrust. The Ice Moon Silk's heavenly demon god body rapidly erupted with even greater power. Her expression was grave. It was obvious that Su Tianhao's strength had exceeded her expectations. But Su Tianhao was still no match for her. Because in this period of time, she had also improved greatly. She had completely mastered the full power of the 0-degree demon god. She could unleash 100% of the power of the inheritance. This was the first time in tens of thousands of years that the 0-degree demon god's inheritance had appeared in the Bing royal family. This meant that she would definitely become the leader of the Bing royal family and lead the entire Bing royal family to the peak. This kind of improvement was much stronger than Su Tianhao's. Su Tianhao had not even completely mastered the 14 wings cultivation law, let alone the strongest 16 wings cultivation law. He was not even qualified to touch this level. 0-degree demon god heavenly thrust. As the ice moon damask released this inherited transcendent divine demonic martial technique, boundless icy demonic chi condensed in the sky, forming many horrifying icicles. Chapter 55-13. 0-degree demon god heavenly thorn. This supreme divine demon martial technique's horrifying power instantly engulfed Su Tianhao's demon god body. The 0-degree ice heavenly thorn almost froze everything. Su Tianhao's entire devil god body shuddered. This ice moon damask was too strong, far stronger than he had expected. How could this woman have such terrifying strength? I was careless. Su Tianhao's body was already invaded by the cold air. The endless 0-degree demon god's power corroded his body, causing his demon body to become even more fragile. The cold air instantly attacked, accompanied by the endless demonic energy heaven thorn, suppressing him to the ground. Boom! The horrifying power pressed down, freezing everything around him into ice. At this moment, everyone's expression changed. This move was simply too powerful. It actually suppressed Su Tianhao and froze his 16-winged demon god body into an ice sculpture. At this point, Su Tianhao had no ability to resist. He lost. I lost. Su Tianhao's body was bone-chilling cold. Even though he was frozen into an ice sculpture, he still had consciousness. He could not move, but he knew he lost. Kong Xinmu was right. This woman is very strong. Su Tianhao clenched his teeth, feeling powerless all over his body. His opponent was much stronger than him. Unless he could completely comprehend the 14-winged battle cultivation law, it was impossible to defeat this woman. Moreover, even if he really mastered the 14-winged battle cultivation law, he could not fully display the inherited power of a 16-winged demon god. At most, he could fight to a draw with the Ice Moon Silk. My strength is still too weak. I can't even defeat a descendant of a declining royal family. Isn't this a disgrace to the Su royal family? I lost in the first match of the second round. Although I will definitely have the right to challenge, I am not willing. Su Tianhao clenched his teeth. This defeat was a wake-up call for him. No matter who he faced, he could not be careless. This was a lesson that made him lose a lot of face. But now, he definitely would not lose. The battle ended. Su Tianhao returned to the Su royal family seating area. Patriarch, I've lost. But I feel that I have some understanding of the 14-winged combat cultivation law. I can break through now. In the next battle, no matter who I face, I will not lose. Su Tianhao said seriously. Next time? I'm afraid there won't be a next time. Su Er calmly said, the right to challenge requires more than half of the 24 imperial families present to vote for it. It's a pity that you didn't receive more than half of the votes. He gave it to Su Tianhao. But in the end, only 10 royal families agreed. Obviously, the other royal families did not approve of Su Tianhao's strength. Or they were dissatisfied with the Su royal family and didn't want Su Tianhao to have another chance. What? Su Tianhao felt like he was struck by lightning. There was no next time? How was this possible? How could not half of them approve of his additional challenge? Could it be that his strength was so weak that he could not enter the eyes of the other royal families? Because of the bet. This bet is not just between us and the Tuoba clan, Su Jiyu said faintly from the side. There are also many royal families that are hostile to us. They want to see us become a joke and want us to lose to the Tuoba family. Of course, even the royal families that are on good terms with us didn't vote for you because it's beneficial for them if our strength is weakened. At the very least, they can't just watch as we obtain 2 saint items of heaven and earth and let our strength increase for nothing. Su Tianhao naturally understood what Su Jiyu meant. So it was because of the bet. He heaved a sigh of relief. He thought that his strength was really so weak that he couldn't even get the right to challenge. Since that was the case, he relaxed a little. But very quickly, he became nervous. That's not right. If he couldn't fight, wouldn't the Su royal family lose for sure? How could they get first place? He knew the strength of everyone in the younger generation of the Su royal family. Other than Kong Xinmu, of the 18 people participating in the battle, no one else was his match. As for Kong Shinmu, even though he had just defeated an expert of the Jin royal clan, the full moon demon god, he was, after all, injured. He didn't think that Kong Shinmu had the strength to surpass him. Since that was the case, he was definitely the first in the Su royal family. Now that the first in the Su royal family lost to the Ice Moon Silk, didn't that mean that the Su royal family would lose for sure? They definitely couldn't get first place. Xueqi and Xueqi were going to be forced to marry Tuoba Xue and Tuoba Zhenwu. Absolutely not. Su Tianhao's eyes turned red. Clan leader. Aunt, you must fight for the right to challenge. Otherwise, how can we get first place? Su Yu immediately became stern. The result is out. How can you fight for it? You fought for the opportunity yourself. Since you didn't grasp it, you can't blame others. But I harmed Aunt and Yi. Su Tianhao's eyes were red. Don't worry, it's not that bad. Su Jiyu smiled faintly. She looked at Kong Shinmu. She had absolute confidence in Kong Shinmu. But now, when Su Tianhao was defeated and lost the right to challenge, everyone was certain that the Su royal family couldn't be first. Of course, even if Su Tianhao was still there, the Su royal family could at most get into the top 5. To get first, did they ask Li Tianxiong and Tuoba Xue? Those two were the absolute candidates for first and second place. As for the Ice Moon Silk, it was merely in the top 5. Right now, Su Tianhao couldn't even beat the Ice Moon Silk. Wasn't he dreaming if he wanted to be first? The key now was whether there was anyone else in the Su royal family that could stand out. But everyone understood that it was too difficult. Strength was not something that could be cultivated overnight. Although the Su royal family seemed to have grasped some of the demon god race's power this time. But this did not bring about a qualitative change. For example, Su Tianhao was still inferior to the Ice Moon Silk. The gap that existed in the past still existed now. It was just that the gap had shrunk a little. Relying on this to get first place was basically a fool's dream. As for Kong Shinmu, although his performance just now was not bad, not many people paid attention to him. Even if they paid attention to him, it was only because of his identity. He was from the dragon god race and was the personal disciple of Emperor Shi's divine dragon. That was all. As for his demon god race strength, no one would acknowledge it. Chapter 55:14. When Su Tianhao was defeated, no one thought that the Su royal family had any hope of taking first place. On the Tuoba royal family's side, they were almost celebrating winning this ranking competition. After all, in their opinion, other than Su Tianhao, there was no one else in the Su royal family who could compare to Tuoba Xue. Of course, the Li Tian clan was also a threat, but Tuoba Xue was still confident. The key was that the Su royal family had completely lost the possibility of taking first place. Then, even if the Tuoba clan could not take first place, it could not be taken by the Su royal family. This meant that they at least kept 2 sacred items. Next, it was up to them to see if they could take first place, and then if they could win the beauties. Whether it was Su Jiyu or Su Yi, they were both beauties that Tuoba Xue wanted. Su Tianhao lost. But others should not lose. The Su royal family's foundation is still there. The Bing royal family only has the Ice Moon Silk. Next, the Su royal family went relatively smoothly. Apart from Su Tianhao, who was unlucky enough to encounter the Ice Moon Silk, everyone else advanced. This made Su Tianhao want to cry. Why did he draw the Ice Moon Silk? This was too despairing. Su Tianhao was very unhappy and had too many regrets. After all, this was his first and last time participating in the ranking competition between the Demon God royal family. After this, the next time the competition started, he would be over 30 years old and lose the right to participate again. Damn it! Su Tianhao's entire person was about to collapse. But now, no one cared about what he thought. Within the Su royal family, many people actually had quite a bit of opinions about Su Tianhao. After all, this person usually claimed to be the number one of the younger generation. For example, Su Guwei was quite unhappy with Su Tianhao. But Su Guwei really could not beat Su Tianhao, so he did not say anything on the surface. Now that he saw Su Tianhao actually defeated by a woman, he was secretly delighted. Of course, until the last moment, Su Guwei did not dare to say anything. After all, he did not know how far he could go. If he lost miserably, then wasn't mocking Su Tianhao the same as mocking himself? So Su Gui's current state of mind was very stable. He just had to persevere. The second sentence is about to begin. It's better for Xiyu to draw the lots. Su sat in her seat, not wanting to move. Su Xiyu did not decline. Drawing lots was just a representative from the royal family anyway. Soon, she returned with the results of the second round of drawing. Kong Xinmu versus Taba Zhantian. Taba Zhantian. When Kong Xinmu found out who his next opponent was, his expression changed slightly. This fellow was the number 5 figure of the Taba clan in this competition. It wasn't too strong, but it was the first time the Su royal clan had a direct confrontation with the people of the Taba clan. None of the others had any opponents from the Taba clan. Starting from the second match of the second round, the drawing of lots became completely random. It was no longer based on the results of the first round. Therefore, it was possible to encounter any kind of opponent. It's over. When the Su imperial clan saw that Kong Xinmu had actually encountered Tuoba Zhantian, their complexions became unsightly. Tuoba Zhantian was an expert of the Taba clan. Although he was only ranked 5th among the younger generation of the Taba clan, Tuoba Zhantian was still a level 5 super demon god. He was one of Tuoba Shi's loyal followers. Don't worry, big brother. This person is only at level 2 of the transcendent god realm. I will definitely defeat him in one move. Tuoba Zhantian stood up, his face full of a cold smile. He stared at Kong Xinmu, who was sitting in the Su royal clan seats, his eyes full of disdain. In the previous round, Kong Xinmu had fought against the injured Jin Luiyue. He didn't display any strength at all, so no one knew how strong he really was. However, other than Su Er, Su Xiyu, and a few others, no one thought that Kong Xinmu could create a miracle. After all, he was only at level 2 of the transcendent god realm. His cultivation was 3 levels lower than the others. How could he fight? The personal disciple of Emperor Shi of the Dragon God clan. Today, I want to see how powerful he is. Tuoba Zhantian laughed loudly. Haha. If he can't beat you, he might turn into a dragon to beat you. Then you have to be careful. I heard that this Kong Xinmu's Dragon God clan's inheritance is very strong. You have to be careful, haha. Yeah, don't give him a slap in the face. The Tuoba royal clan's people joked wildly. In the ranking competition of the Demon God clan's royal clan, it was naturally impossible for Kong Xinmu to use the Dragon God clan's inheritance. It wasn't that he was forbidden to transform into a dragon god, but once he used the Dragon God clan's inheritance, he would naturally be disqualified. On the surface, they were praising Kong Xinmu's Dragon God clan's inheritance for being strong. In reality, they were mocking his Demon God clan's inheritance for being too weak. He was only a level 2 super demon god, and he dared to participate in the ranking competition of the Demon God clan's royal clan. Wasn't this a joke? The Su royal clan and the Tuoba royal clan are finally facing off. Other than the Tuoba royal clan, there were still many people paying attention to the bet between the two clans. That included the Li Tian clan. After all, the bet included 2 sacred items. If the Su royal clan won, the Su royal clan would obtain 2 sacred items. Then the Su royal clan's strength would greatly increase. Although the impact on the whole would not be too great. But, the battle of strength between the Demon God clan's royal clan was built up from the accumulation of small details. Therefore, they could not bear to see the Su royal clan take first place. This is the first direct confrontation between the Su royal clan and the Tuoba royal clan. It's a pity that even Kong Xinmu can't see the Su royal clan's strength. Is there still a need to see? In this generation of the Su royal clan, only Su Tianhao is worth a look. Now that Su Tianhao has been defeated, who else has hoped to take first place? Don't tell me it's because of this Kong Xinmu. Ha ha ha. The people from the Li Tian clan were even more direct with their words. They did not give Kong Xinmu any face at all. Although they were only chatting within their own clan, even if there were outsiders present, they would still speak the same way. This was the Li Tian clan. And within the Su royal clan, many people were already filled with righteous indignation. Why is it Kong Xinmu versus Tuoba Zhantian? If it were me, I would definitely defeat Tuoba Zhantian in 3 moves. Su Gui gritted his teeth and shouted. After Su Tianhao's defeat, Su Gui felt that among all the participants of the Su royal clan, his strength was at least in the top 3. Against Tuoba Zhantian, it was more than enough. However, Chapter 55-15. Kong Shin-mu went up to the arena. He ignored everyone's words and went to the center of the arena. He and Tuoba Zhantian would be the first match of this round. Everyone was waiting to see this match. But most people didn't think there was any suspense in this match. Most people were pointing at the center, talking and laughing. They even began to discuss how many moves Tuoba Zhantian would need to defeat Kong Shin-mu. Brother Jiang will definitely be fine. Xueqi was confident in Kong Shin-mu. Although she wasn't sure what level Kong Shin-mu had reached in the inheritance of the Demon God clan, she had enough confidence in Kong Shin-mu. No matter what, she believed in Kong Shin-mu. Xueqi was a little worried about Kong Shin-mu. After all, Tuoba Zhantian was still very strong. Level 5 Super Demon God, with such cultivation and realm, couldn't be defeated easily. He was the most elite of the young generation of the Tuoba royal family. Although Xueqi didn't know how strong Kong Shin-mu was, she knew how to observe his body language. Just by looking at Su-er and Su Zhiyu's calm and composed expressions, she felt that there must be an inside story. Su Tianhao was defeated, but he was still so calm. It could only mean that among the remaining people, there was still a possibility of winning first place. The most likely one was undoubtedly Kong Shin-mu. Only Su Yi and Su Yi, because they were close to Kong Shin-mu and knew about Kong Shin-mu's past, would have such confidence in Kong Shin-mu. In the arena, Kong Shin-mu had already transformed into the body of a 16-winged heavenly demon god. His eyes were cold, like the calmest demon god. Opposite him, Tuoba Zhantian didn't immediately transform into the body of a demon god. Instead, he looked at Kong Shin-mu mockingly. Kong Shin-mu, you are from the Dragon God clan. It's one thing for you to dominate the dragon gods, but now that you've come to our demon gods, you dare to be so arrogant? You're really seeking your own death. Arrogant? Kong Shin-mu was speechless. He didn't seem to have said anything, did he? He didn't know how this guy saw through his arrogance. Kong Shin-mu's demon god body looked down at Tuoba Zhantian in his human form. He narrowed his eyes and said, "The demon god race is filled with arrogant people like you?" What? What an arrogant and conceited man. Tuoba Zhantian's face darkened. He really didn't expect that Kong Shin-mu would dare to mock him in his own territory. Simply audacious to the extreme. I want to see how you can be so arrogant in a while. Infuriated, Tuoba Zhantian activated the inheritance of the demon god race, the chaotic heavenly fire demon god. The inheritance of the Tuoba royal family was the chaotic heavenly fire demon god. This chaotic heavenly fire demon god, not to mention that Kong Shin-mu had mastered its weakness. Even if they fought normally, Kong Shin-mu would not be afraid of him. I'm only a second-stage super demon god, but I should have no problem dealing with this Tuoba Zhantian. Kong Shin-mu estimated his own combat strength. However, in this battle, he could almost break through to the third-stage super demon god. He could break through after the battle. Seeing that his opponent had transformed into a chaotic heavenly fire demon god, Kong Shin-mu's 16-winged demon god body charged straight at him. Demon Wings Tornado. The 16 wings on Kong Shin-mu's back erupted with a terrifying demonic aura. With an invincible stance, it instantly enveloped Tuoba Zhantian's demon god body. For this devil wing tornado, he had directly unleashed his strongest level, the extreme saint realm. Previously, when he was fighting the full moon demon god, he had only used the heaven-grade demonic wing tornado, but now, when he used this demonic martial technique, the sky was filled with pitch-black demonic aura. It was like an endless black fog that shrouded the entire arena. From the 16 wings of his demon god body, a vast amount of demonic aura constantly surged out, forming a rolling demonic fog that crushed down. Tuoba Zhantian had originally thought that Kong Shin-mu's strength was not that great. At least in terms of the demon god race, his strength was not that great. But now, he suddenly realized with a start that he was wrong, very wrong. This Kong Shin-mu actually comprehended the demon wings tornado to the supreme sage realm. How long has it been? Astonishment appeared in the eyes of Tuoba Zhantian's chaotic heavenly fire demon god body. He had thought that Kong Shin-mu had only comprehended it to the heaven level. He did not expect that he would directly comprehend it to the highest level, the supreme sage realm. Back when he fought Jean Luiyue, he had gone easy on her. Had Jean Luiyue been unable to defeat Kong Shin-mu because of her injuries? That was not the case at all. This Kong Shin-mu, was very strong when it came to the demon god race's heritage. Tuoba Zhantian instantly stopped belittling Kong Shinmu, but he still did not believe that Kong Shinmu was his match. After all, their cultivation levels were 3 levels apart. From his point of view, this difference in cultivation levels was more terrifying than anything else. Very good. This is not considered bullying. Tuoba Zhantian's demon god body revealed a sinister smile. He raised his demon god arms as boundless surging flames seeped out of his demon god skin. It was as though a volcano had erupted in his body, causing churning magma to rush out of his body. Boundless skyfire condensed into a gigantic flaming pillar that surged towards Kong Shinmu's demon wings tornado. Chaos Heaven's explosive inferno pillar. With his angry roar, a total of 9 explosive inferno pillars shot out of his body, instantly dispersing the demonic aura of the demon wings tornado that Kong Shinmu had released. The billowing black demonic aura was blasted apart by the impact of the 9 explosive inferno pillars. In an instant, it was as though there were 9 clashes in the arena. The forces of both sides converged in midair, clashed, and surged out. Tuoba Zhantian was indeed a 5th-level super demon god existence. Just a casual strike from him was enough to disperse the demon wings tornado of the Supreme Sage realm. The advantage that his cultivation level gave him was too great. If they were at the same cultivation level, Tuoba Zhantian would have been defeated in this clash. But at that moment, it looked like Kong Shinmu was being suppressed. After all, he had made the first move. As for Tuoba Zhantian's casual counterattack, he had repelled the demonic technique that he had cast first. As expected of a 5th-level demon god. He's very strong. Kong Shinmu's expression sank. He could sense Tuoba Zhantian's immense strength. It was the strongest of the younger generation of the demon gods he had ever encountered. Even compared with the most elite young generation of the Dragon God clan, he was even more outstanding. After all, the Fiend Celestial race was ruled by the royal family. Every youth from the royal family had the best and the most cultivation resources. However, to Kong Shinmu, Tuoba Zhantian was not invincible. Chapter 55-16. In the midst of the chaos heavenly fire, Tuoba Zhantian's gigantic Fiend Celestial heritage body took a step towards Kong Shinmu. He was like a Fiend Celestial that had walked out of a sea of fire, his body surging with boiling lava. Your strength is not bad. However, if that's all you have, you are not my match. Tuoba Zhantian's voice was like rolling thunder from beyond the heavens as it resounded throughout the arena. The chaos heavenly fire pillar dispersed the darkness and blasted apart the demonic mist formed by the demonic wing tornado. Immediately following that, he took a step forward. The entire arena seemed to be trembling. Endless streams of magma gushed out from the ground. Chaos smelting fire purgatory. Tuoba Zhantian continued with his supreme god-fiend martial technique. The chaos-smelting fire purgatory was his strongest supreme god-fiend martial technique. He had already comprehended it to the extreme sage realm. When he used this move, the chaos heavenly fire fiendish aura in his body erupted completely. It surged throughout the arena. Following that, a terrifying force erupted from the ground and spewed out, enveloping Kong Shinmu's entire 16-winged Skyfian celestial body. The chaos-smelting fire purgatory erupted with endless purgatory power. It used the extremely hot lava to form veins, forming a furnace hell. Kong Shinmu's 16-winged Skyfian celestial body was instantly enveloped. Endless waves of heat surged in from all directions, as though they were trying to melt him into a pool of blood. The explosive power of the chaos-smelting fire purgatory at the extreme sage realm was something that even Kong Shinmu's Skyfian celestial body could not withstand. Skyfiend Divine Wings Abyss. Kong Shinmu's 16-winged Skyfian celestial body seemed to have endless black streams of light flowing along its 16 wings. A black beam tore through the void, as though a Skyfian celestial hand had reached out from the void and enveloped Kong Shinmu's Skyfian celestial body. But soon, everyone realized that it was not the Skyfian celestial hand that tore through the void, but the divine wings. Kong Shinmu's 16 wings seemed to link with the powerful existence in the void, weaving a black net of light that condensed into a void abyss. This void abyss enveloped him like a black stream of light that shimmered around him, separating him from the surrounding lava-smelting fire purgatory. This void abyss enveloped him and flashed around him like a black stream of light, isolating him from the surrounding lava-smelting purgatory. The abyss of the heavenly demon god's wings had created the abyss of the heavenly demon god. When Jiang Shenwu completely activated the power of the 16 wings, the defense of the abyss of the heavenly demon god's wings had increased by many times. With the lava-smelting purgatory's defense, even though he was in the endless lava-smelting purgatory, it wasn't affected at all. The eyes of Kong Shinmu's 16-winged Skyfian celestial body flickered with a black light. With the 16 wings spread, he looked like the noblest Skyfian celestial in the world, descending from the sky. Streams of black light formed an insurmountable void abyss that enveloped him, isolating him from the outside world. The lava-smelting purgatory has reached the ultimate saint realm. Tuoba Zhantian's expression changed slightly. He had been fighting against the Su royal family for many years. Naturally, he knew the supreme divine demon martial skills that the Su royal family often used. The lava-smelting purgatory was a martial skill that summoned the void abyss, and it relied on the 16-winged Skyfian celestial wings. At this moment, the lava-smelting purgatory that Kong Shinmu displayed was so powerful that it directly isolated his lava-smelting purgatory, which shocked him. This person was not ordinary. He even seemed to be able to unleash the full power of the 16-winged Skyfian celestial. Tuoba Zhantian didn't know if it was just his imagination, but the Kong Shinmu before him, this young man from the Dragon God clan, seemed different from the other young men of the Su royal family. This feeling made Tuoba Zhantian feel threatened. It seems that I have to use my full strength. Tuoba Zhantian's chaotic heavenly fire demon body was covered in endless flames. In front of his demon god body, the flames condensed into the shape of a giant flaming hammer. This giant flaming hammer seemed to have condensed all the firepower in the world, emitting surging heat waves. The terrifying scarlet light of the heavenly fire made the giant flaming hammer look like a scarlet sun, illuminating the entire wrestling ring. Supreme divine demon weapon, chaotic fire divine hammer. The eyes of Tuoba Zhantian's demon god body were like erupting volcanoes, emitting endless chaotic heavenly fire. They looked like two flaming eyebrows floating in the air, or like two huge meteors descending from the sky. He reached out his hand, holding the chaotic fire divine hammer tightly. His demon god body was like a demon representing fire. He lifted his feet, and a burst of scarlet chaotic heavenly fire surged in the whole wrestling ring. Waves of fire spread throughout the wrestling ring. Then, he waved the chaotic fire divine hammer in his hand in the void, as if the whole void was burning. Heavenly fire seal. The chaotic fire divine hammer moved the void, and the scarlet flame spread in the whole wrestling ring. Streams of fire were drawn from the void. These streams of fire swept toward Kong Shinmu's demon god body and entangled the abyss of his heavenly devil wings. Originally, Kong Shinmu's abyss of the heavenly devil wings was like the most stable defense, isolating him from the outside world and preventing him from being hurt. But at this moment, the abyss of the heavenly devil wings was entangled by the heavenly fire explosion energy, and there was an indescribable sealing power that completely sealed the abyss of the heavenly devil wings into the void. With the super firepower of the chaotic fire divine hammer, the heavenly fire explosion energy, which was originally at the supreme level, even completely sealed Kong Shinmu's entire 16-winged heavenly devil body. Kong Shinmu felt that all his strength was being rapidly drained, and he was being sealed in an absolute void. Have you used a supreme god-level demon weapon? In that case, I also have a supreme god-level demon weapon. The formless weapon, Chen Xing, was not a specialized supreme god-level demon weapon, but it could exert the same effect on any means of the demon god clan. Convert. Void battle runes. In the formless Chen Xing, Kong Shinmu converted all the battle runes into void battle runes. At this moment, his whole person's sensitivity to the power of the void erupted in an instant, and it was several times stronger than before. Originally, his perception of the power of the void had already surpassed that of ordinary people. At this moment, he completely crushed his opponent. He could clearly feel that the void in this wrestling ring was flowing like a long river, and at this moment, it had been disturbed by the two of them. Demon Wings Tornado. Explode. Kong Shinmu still used the same supreme god-level demon martial technique, but this time, it was enhanced by the formless weapon, Chen Xing, and it had a terrifying power of the void. Chapter 55:17. It was the same demonic wing tornado, a transcendent divine demon martial technique. However, after Jiang Shenwu executed the formless celestial weapons, its might was completely different. His opponent's heavenly fire explosion seal was directly shattered. Tuoba Zhantian's expression changed dramatically. He had never thought that Kong Shinmu would be able to break the heavenly fire explosion seal with the help of his chaotic fire refining divine hammer. Endless void energy flowed in the surrounding space and enveloped Kong Shinmu's 16-winged heavenly demon god body. A terrifying shockwave rippled through the entire arena. Kong Shinmu took a step forward, and the 16 black wings on his back fluttered with the void, almost merging with the entire space. 1,000 demon wing blades. Kong Shinmu raised his hand, and the 16 wings on his back stretched out instantly. Countless black blades emerged from the demon god's wings. Along with the formless star weapon battle runes, the battle runes were all transformed into offensive battle runes. Endless heaven and earth energy gathered from all directions, as if forming a vortex of power. Kill! The endless 1,000 demon wing blades traveled through the void with the whistling sound of the wind. This paramount sage transcendent divine demon martial technique caused Tuoba Zhantian's expression to change drastically the moment he attacked. So powerful. Tuoba Zhantian felt that he could not resist the aura alone. It was too powerful. The strength of the attack was not something that a Stage 2 Supreme Demon God could release. What was wrong with this guy? Or was it that the MO weapon in his hand was something out of the ordinary? What was so unusual about it? What he did not know was that the formless weapon was extraordinary. All the battle runes could be changed freely, and when used to strengthen the attack, it could increase its destructive power by at least 10 times. This was not only suitable for dragon martial skills, but also for demon martial skills. Tuoba Zhantian had already cultivated the 1,000 demon wing blades to the ultimate divine realm. With the addition of the formless star weapon battle runes, its power was far beyond his cultivation level. At this moment, countless strands of devil energy had converged into countless blades, and they pressed down towards Tuoba Zhantian like a storm. It formed a whirlwind of blades, containing a boundless cold and pitch-black aura. An austere aura spread throughout the entire area. Every blade seemed to be able to cut through the void, traversing through the void. The chaos-refining fire divine hammer in Tuoba Zhantian's hand also erupted with endless power at this moment. Like a lava volcano, the giant hammer in his hand bloomed, and a scarlet color was born and spread around his demon god body. Endless magma sea. Flowing lava. The entire arena seemed to have turned into a sea of fire. Even the void started to burn. Countless surging lava rose from the endless molten sea. They transformed into ancient flame phantoms that welcomed the demonic energy blades that filled the sky. The transcendent divine demon martial techniques of both sides clashed at this moment and instantly exploded. Countless fragments of the devil chi blade exploded with a loud bang. Even the crimson lava was blown to smithereens in the vortex of power. In the endless molten sea, surging flame phantoms continuously appeared. However, every time a flame phantom formed, it would be smashed into pieces by the surrounding pitch-black blades. The endless blade phantoms even suppressed the entire molten sea. It was as if a sea of water was pouring down from the sky, extinguishing the sea of flames. The original scarlet and black colors quickly turned black. The entire arena was shrouded by the 1,000 demon wing blades, and it became a world of pitch-black blades. Suppress! Kong Shinmu took another step forward, and his huge demon god body descended like a demon god. Accompanied by countless pitch-black demon wing blades, Kong Shinmu suddenly appeared like a demon god. The endless molten sea was suppressed by the 1,000 demon wing blades. Kong Shinmu's arrival was like the final mountain that completely suppressed Tuoba Zhantian's demon god body and forced him to retreat. Ah! Tuoba Zhantian let out a roar, but his celestial demon body was completely suppressed by Jiang Shenwu. His celestial demon body was completely suppressed, causing him to fall to the ground, unable to stand up again. Extinguish! The surrounding lava, which still wanted to erupt, was suppressed by Kong Shinmu's demonic energy and extinguished. Only the pitch-black shadow of the 1,000 demon wing blades remained. Kong Shinmu. 1. This scene caused all the spectators to stop talking, and their expressions became extremely interesting. Before the fight started, they thought that Kong Shinmu of the Su royal family would definitely not be able to defeat Tuoba Zhantian. After all, one was a second-stage super demon god, and the other was a fifth-stage super demon god. They were even discussing how many moves Tuoba Zhantian would need to defeat Kong Shinmu. However, in the blink of an eye, Kong Shinmu completely suppressed Tuoba Zhantian. Tuoba Zhantian is defeated. In the Taba royal family's seating area, everyone's expression became gloomy. They did not expect Taba Zhantian to lose. It was true that Taba Zhantian would not be able to make it to the end, but this was only the second round. Moreover, his opponent was only a second-stage super demon god. The personal disciple of Emperor Shi's divine dragon is indeed worthy of his reputation. Everyone exclaimed. As for the Taba family, they now looked down on Taba Zhantian. He could not even defeat a second-stage super god? Moreover, this kid mainly cultivated the inheritance of the dragon gods. Logically speaking, he should not be strong in the inheritance of the demon gods. However, they only thought about this in their hearts. After all, in this battle, Kong Xinmu had displayed terrifying combat strength. He had displayed 3 supreme divine demon skills, and they were all comprehended to the supreme sage realm. How long ago did this fellow start cultivating demonic martial techniques? As for Kong Xinmu comprehending the supreme sage realm in such a short time, they did not believe it. However, this was a supreme divine demon skill. It would be extremely difficult to comprehend and cultivate it before reaching the supreme sage realm. It might even be impossible to successfully cultivate it. And before Kong Xinmu came to the demon god race great world, he had not reached the level of a supreme demon god. This meant that Kong Xinmu might really have comprehended 3 supreme divine demon skills to the supreme sage realm in such a short time in the demon god race great world. This was a little terrifying. Unfortunately, they did not know that the supreme sage realm demonic skills that Kong Xinmu had comprehended were not just 3. There were 6. It was just that there was no need to use them all now. This kid is too terrifying. With this kid's help, the Su royal family's future is limitless. The strength of our demon god race royal family is going to change. Many people were a little worried. Chapter 55:18. The worry of the Su royal family being too powerful resurfaced in everyone's mind. Originally, when they saw Su Tianhao fail, every single one of them heaved a sigh of relief. In case Su Tianhao's luck was good and he really took first place. Those 2 sacred objects of heaven and earth raised the Su dynasty too much. But now, they realized it was no longer a matter of the 2 sacred items. Instead, they were going to face a genius. A super genius with terrifying talent in the inheritance of a 16-winged heavenly fiend god. This was much more terrifying than the 2 sacred items. A sacred item could become a part of the royal family's strength, and it could improve the royal family's battle power. But a super genius could directly bring the royal family's strength to a whole new level. These were 2 different concepts. To the other demon god royal family members, the current Kong Xinmu seemed to have such potential. And something even more terrifying had come. Just as everyone was discussing Kong Xinmu did something unexpected. His entire body started to surge with the power of the void, while boundless spiritual energy started to gather towards him from all around the arena. Breakthrough. He was breaking through. Everyone's eyes were filled with incredulity. How was this possible? It was not that he could not break through after a battle, or during the ranking competition. The key was, how long had Kong Xinmu been in the demon god great world? How could he break through again in such a short time? Did he think breaking through was child's play? At this moment, everyone was shocked. Even Xueqi, and the other members of the Su royal family were shocked. Wasn't this too terrifying? This Kong Xinmu actually chose to break through in the arena. How long had it been since he last broke through? Too fast. Everyone was so shocked that they couldn't say a word. Tuoba Xue, who had always been extremely arrogant, now had a gloomy expression. Even the Tuoba clan leader, Tuoba Matian, was somewhat uncertain. Originally, Tuoba Matian and Tuoba Xue were full of confidence. But now, they felt a great danger. This Kong Xinmu could defeat Tuoba Zhantian when he was at the 2nd level of the super demon god. If he were to break through to the 3rd level of the transcendent god, what would happen? Wouldn't that mean that even Tuoba Xue might not be a match for him? Of course, this was not because he had no confidence in Tuoba Xue, but because he felt threatened. He felt that Kong Xinmu might be able to compete with Tuoba Xue. Tuoba Matian didn't think that his grandson would be as weak as Tuoba Zhantian. But no matter what, Kong Xinmu still gave him the possibility of being a threat. Even if there was only a slight threat, it had to be extinguished as soon as possible. In the long run, Tuoba Matien did not know what changes Kong Shinmu could bring to the Su royal family. But he knew that he absolutely couldn't allow Kong Shinmu to become the first in the ranking competition this time. Otherwise, the Taba clan would suffer heavy losses. Stop his breakthrough. This was the method that Tuoba Devil Heaven thought of. Furthermore, this idea constantly sprouted in his heart, and he would soon put it into practice. Unfortunately, at this moment, Xueqi stood up. Xueqi also stood up. Kong Shinmu is the personal disciple of Emperor Shi's divine dragon. If everyone plans to make a move now, are you planning to offend Emperor Shi's divine dragon? Offending Emperor Shi's divine dragon is nothing. After all, no one is afraid of a mere Emperor Shi's divine dragon, but Kong Shinmu, our young friend, is here to help our demon god race. To increase the strength of our demon god race. To our entire demon god race great world, he is here with friendly intentions. Let me ask, if everyone interrupts his breakthrough now, will it affect the relationship between the demon god race and the dragon god race? If Emperor Shi's divine dragon wants to stand up for his disciple, what will the rest of the dragon god race think? They will definitely make a move together. Xueqi calmly said. And when these words came out, Tuoba Matien and the rest all calmed down. That's right. This Kong Shinmu was a member of the dragon god race. He was the personal disciple of Emperor Shi's divine dragon. If an accident happened during the battle, then it was fine if their skills were inferior. But now he was breaking through. If you went over to disturb his breakthrough and caused him to fail, what would he think? In short, whoever makes a move now will be plotting to provoke a conflict between the two great races. If the dragon god race really attacks, whoever makes a move will be the vanguard to resist the dragon god race. Xueqi narrowed her eyes and said, whoever dares to take on this responsibility, feel free to make a move. When her voice fell, the entire place was silent. How would they dare? Who would dare to take on this responsibility? Even Tuoba Matien did not dare. He was really not afraid of Emperor Shi's divine dragon's hostility. He also did not think that affecting Kong Shinmu's breakthrough would cause the dragon god race to invade. But what if? What if the dragon god race went crazy and wanted to seek justice for Kong Shinmu? At that time, the Tuoba royal family would be the vanguard. He did not even need to think to know the consequences. The demon god race was one of the 24 royal families. How could they go against the entire dragon god race? Moreover, the dragon god race's sacred land was not to be trifled with. Even if the dragon god race did not come, just the 5 extreme mysterious ice sacred land would be enough. With this thought, Tuoba Matien immediately suppressed the idea of stopping Kong Shinmu's breakthrough. The reason why he did not make a move was because he had some misgivings. And Xueqi's words had turned his misgivings into reality. After all, Xueqi had already said this first. If he made a move, it would make the dragon god race even angrier. If the dragon god race knew about this. Are you, Tuoba Matien, looking down on the dragon god race? Failure. Tuoba Matien's expression became even gloomier. Matien, when you meet this lad, don't show mercy. If you can kill him directly. If an accident happens during the competition, he can't blame anyone. Tuoba Matien sneered. Yes. Tuoba Matien's eyes lit up. This was exactly what he wanted. It would be too boring if his hands and feet were tied on the stage. This Kong Shinmu could defeat Tuoba Zhantien with Transcendent God Stage 2 cultivation, which showed that his foundation was not bad. Now that he had broken through to Transcendent God Stage 3, Tuoba Matien felt that this lad was qualified to be his disciple. At the very least, he was stronger than Su Tianhao. Kong Shinmu's breakthrough was completed very quickly. Under everyone's gaze, he seemed to be isolated from the outside world, wholeheartedly focusing on his breakthrough. Not long after, his entire aura suddenly changed. Super Demon God Stage 3. He opened his eyes. He was very clear that no one could make a move against him now that he had broken through. Otherwise, it would incite a conflict between the two races. Because of this, he was at ease to break through now. And after the breakthrough, his strength was even stronger than before. Just the foundation of the demon god race alone was more than twice as strong as before. Moreover, it was more compatible with the 16-winged combat cultivation law. Logically speaking, the 16-winged combat cultivation law could only be comprehended by a supreme being. But he had comprehended it now. Chapter 55-19. Kong Shinmu had comprehended the 16-winged combat cultivation law because he had devoured the main body of the demon god ancestor. This allowed him to directly obtain the strongest comprehension of the 16-winged combat cultivation law. However, his current demon god body could not withstand its full power. Therefore, at the super demon god stage, he could only use a portion of the 16-winged combat cultivation law's power. At the first level of the transcendent god, he could use about 10% of it. At the second level of the transcendent god, he could use 20% of it. And now, Kong Shinmu had broken through to the third level of the transcendent god and could use 30% of it. This was improvement. Not only did his basic strength increase, but he could also use the 16-winged combat cultivation law's power to increase his strength even more. Soon, Kong Shinmu completed his breakthrough and returned to the Su royal family's seats. The ranking competition between the royal family of the demon god race naturally continued. Suddenly, an unexpected figure came to the side of the Su dynasty's seats. Li Tian clan, Li Tian Xiong. This was a burly man who looked relatively young. There were a few strands of stripes on his cheeks that looked like tiger stripes. Junior Li Tian Xiong greets the two seniors. He ran over and directly bowed to Su Er and Su Jiyu. Are you here to look for Kong Shinmu? Su Shen did not even ask. He raised his eyebrows. What's the matter? The Su royal family had never been on bad terms with the Li Tian clan. After all, their territories were relatively far apart and there had not been many conflicts between them. It's not a big deal. Li Tian Xiong touched the back of his head, looking somewhat naive. I just have something to ask Brother Kong Shinmu. I have a younger sister who is now of marriageable age. If Brother Jiang is willing. Pooh! When Li Tian Xiong said this, the surrounding people immediately burst into laughter. Li Tian Xiong's younger sister? Wasn't that also a burly existence? It was somewhat impolite to burst into laughter like this, but they could not help it. This Kong Shinmu was too fierce. You have to ask him, Su Er said lightly. He did not laugh. However, he did not laugh. As the clan leader, he still had this bit of patience. Moreover, this matter had nothing to do with him. Of course, if Kong Shinmu really marries Li Tianxiong's sister, then the Su clan. He believed that Kong Shinmu would not make such a choice. Moreover, Li Tianxiong couldn't have really come to propose for his sister. This was just a signal. This signal was, Li Tian clan did not want to be enemies with Kong Shinmu. Sorry, I already have someone I like. Kong Shinmu stood up and cupped his fists towards the power sky bear. He tilted his head and looked down at Xueqi, who was beside him, and smiled. Is that so? That's too bad. Li Tian Xiong laughed, obviously not angry. But we can still be brothers. Brother Jiang, feel free to visit our Li Tian family when you're free. We'll treat you like a brother. In the Li Tian clan, the word brother was often used. It was what people on their side meant. Kong Shinmu didn't quite understand, but he could tell that Li Tian Xiong didn't see him as an enemy. All right, I'll definitely go if I have the chance. Kong Shinmu said a few more words, and Li Tian Xiong left. This Li Tian clan. When Kong Shinmu first came up, they were still mocking him. I didn't think they'd come to express goodwill. On the Su clan side, someone laughed in disdain. That's the specialty of the Li Tian clan. Su Jiyu smiled faintly. They are more straightforward in their dealings. If they look down on someone, they'll say it out loud. As for who they like, they'll say it out loud. Kong Shinmu liked this kind of personality. But some people didn't. Now that Li Tian Xiong came to Kong Shinmu's side to express goodwill, the Tuoba clan was displeased. But they couldn't do anything about it. If the Li Tian clan was a small royal clan, they'd probably be suppressed by the Tuoba clan. The ranking competition continued. Su Yi and Su Ye's opponents weren't very strong. Their combat power was rather strong. Even if their opponents were Transcendent God Stage 4, they could still fight them head-on. This once again shocked all the experts of the Demon God clan's royal family. Clearly, the Su clan's participation in this competition had revealed something. They'd grasped a stronger power of inheritance. It was evident from Kong Shinmu, Su Yi, and Su Yi. And Su Tianhao didn't show it before because he hadn't grasped this new power of inheritance, which was the 14-winged battle cultivation law. No wonder the second group had such a huge advantage in the first round. It's Kong Xinmu, Xueqi, and Su Yi. They gave the entire team a huge boost. The Su clan's last trump card is actually Kong Xinmu. It's a little hard to believe. Everyone clicked their tongues in wonder. And Su Tianhao's expression was even uglier now. He didn't expect this. He really didn't expect that he'd originally thought he was the main force. In the end, he was just a foil, and even an abandoned foil. He believed that if Su Yu and Su Jiyu were willing to pay some resources, they would definitely be able to get the other royal clans to vote together and give him the right to challenge. But they didn't. It's all because of Kong Xinmu. Su Tianhao clenched his fists. He thought that if there was no Kong Xinmu, Su Yu and Su Jiyu would definitely do their best to protect him, right? But he didn't think about it. If there was no Kong Xinmu, why would Su Jiyu agree to the Tuoba clan's bet? Clearly, Su Jiyu didn't think much of Su Tianhao. It was only because she believed in Kong Xinmu that she agreed to the Tuoba clan's bet. Very good, Su Gue also won. Our clan's total score has increased again. With Su Gui's victory, a total of 14 people from the Su clan advanced to the third round. This was also in line with the previous ranking competitions. The overall strength of the Su clan was still relatively strong. Although Su Tianhao unexpectedly lost to the Ice Moon Silk, no matter what, as long as the others weren't too unlucky, they wouldn't encounter two strong opponents. After all, there were so many people drawing lots, and there were only a few strong people. Speaking of which, among the opponents the Su clan met, Kong Xinmu's opponent, Tuoba Zhantian, was the strongest, but he was still defeated by Kong Xinmu. The third round quickly began to draw lots. Both the Tuoba clan and the Li Tian clan advanced 13 people. The Ice Moon Silk also advanced. The other royal clans had 7 or 8 people in the middle level advance, and the weaker ones had 2 or 3 people advance. After all, every clan and royal family had to nurture a few experts of the younger generation. Chapter 55-20. Soon, the results of the third round were out. Kong Xinmu's opponent was a level 4 super demon god from the Bing royal family. She seemed to be Bing Yueying, the younger sister of Bing Yueying. She was also very talented. According to the demon god ancestor, she could unleash at least 90% of the 0-degree demon god's power. Unfortunately, her talent was overshadowed by her sister, Bing Yueying, causing her to not be very outstanding. Some were unknown. But Bing Yueying didn't seem to hate her sister. After all, in the Bing royal family's current environment, the two sisters had a common goal: to make the Bing royal family flourish. Why would they want to fight among themselves? Bing Yueying against Kong Xinmu. I'm afraid there's no hope. But we can try to get Bing Yueying the right to challenge. The Bing royal family began to discuss. Everyone, don't jump to conclusions. Bing Yueying squinted her eyes and said, I know Yueying's strength very well. Other than not reaching level 5, her talent in other areas is comparable to mine. She might not lose against Kong Xinmu. She knew her sister's strength very well. So, she had confidence in her sister. Although Kong Xinmu was very strong, she believed her sister could handle him. However, Jiang Shenwu only displayed the power of a transcendent god stage 2. And now, Kong Xinmu is already at level 3. Many people in the Bing royal family thought like that, but they didn't say it. At a time like this, they couldn't hurt their own morale. Everything could wait until the battle was over. The entire Bing royal family was quite united. After all, among the 24 royal families, the Bing royal family could be said to be at the bottom. Not only did they not have many peak experts, but they also had very few people. If they couldn't rise in the future, the 24 imperial clans would become 23 imperial clans. So they had to be united. It's over. Just then, Su Jiyu announced that in the third round, Su Yi would fight against Tuoba Xue. This caused the expressions of the Su royal family to turn ugly. With Tuoba Xue's strength, he was definitely a popular candidate for the championship. Although Su Yi was not weak, his true strength was definitely not stronger than Tuoba Shi. He might even be slightly weaker than Tuoba Zhantian. Against Tuoba Shi, it was basically a crushing defeat. Moreover, under the current circumstances, she might very well be humiliated. But if they lost without fighting, it would make the Su dynasty feel even more humiliated. This lot drawing is really easy. Su'er bitterly smiled. Su Jiyu curled her lips and said, I can't help it. This was purely a matter of luck. Su Yi, you must be careful later. No one persuaded Su Yi to admit defeat. Because on a stage like this, it was impossible to admit defeat before the fight even started. Su Yi was speechless. He did not expect that he would be fighting against the strongest Tuoba Su. Su Yi, come here. At this moment, Jiang Shenwu called out to Su Yi and whispered something into her ear. This sentence was about the chaotic heavenly fire demon god of the Tuoba royal family. It had a specific weakness. This was what the demon god ancestor told Kong Shinmu. And now, Kong Shinmu told Su Yi. Knowing this, Su Yi might not be able to defeat Tuoba Xue, but at least he could block Tuoba Xue's attack and not be humiliated. Although Su Ye's cultivation was much lower than Tuoba Xue's, Kong Shinmu felt that this battle would be very exciting. The weakness of the chaotic heavenly fire demon god had never been known. And this time, it would be exposed. Of course, even if he knew the weakness of the chaotic heavenly fire demon god, it would be difficult to defeat the Tuoba royal family's expert. At most, it would strengthen his defense a little. But this could still narrow the gap between him and his opponent. Su royal family. The highlight of this round was on Kong Shinmu and Su Yi. Kong Shinmu versus Bing Yueying. Bing Yueying was slightly weaker than Bing Yueying, so everyone was thinking that Kong Shinmu would not lose to Bing Yueying. But he should not be too much stronger. After all, in everyone's opinion, although Kong Shinmu had defeated Tuoba Zhantian, his strength had not reached the pinnacle level. One must know that Tuoba Zhantian was only ranked 5th among the Tuoba clan's younger generation experts. Defeating Tuoba Zhantian was not too strong. Bing Yueying was only at the 4th level of the transcendent god realm, but she could grasp a lot of the 0-degree demonic god's inheritance power, so her battle strength would not be too weak. First, there were 2 matches between the other royal families. Then, it was Kong Shinmu versus Bing Yueying's turn. Kong Shinmu went up the stage. The body of the 16-winged heavenly fiend celestial landed. In the arena, demonic energy rampaged, and pitch black whistled. Bing Yueying's expression was solemn. She was tall and slender, just like her sister, Bing Yueying. But obviously, in terms of the 0-degree demonic god's inheritance power, she was slightly weaker than Bing Yueying. However, this made Kong Shinmu pay attention to this lady's strength, so he did not let his guard down. Su Tianhao was defeated by Bing Yueying because of his carelessness, and he did not even get the right to challenge. Kong Shinmu, I want to win. Bing Yueying said seriously. It's a pity, I don't want to lose either. Kong Shinmu said seriously. Let's fight. Bing Yueying nodded her head firmly, and instantly turned into a giant ice demon. Her entire body was covered in ice and snow, and the entire arena seemed to have fallen into a world of ice and snow. Facing Kong Shinmu, she chose to take the initiative to attack. Mixed element extreme ice chains. Her gigantic ice mountain demon god body was surrounded by the power of ice and snow, which then condensed into terrifying chains of ice that swept out from the void. Mixed element extreme ice chains, a total of 888 chains, shrouded the sky and earth. Ice scattered, and the temperature of the arena plummeted, as if everything was going to be frozen into ice sculptures. In the void, the chaotic extreme ice chain swept towards Jiang Shenwu's 16-winged sky demon god body from all directions at high speed. Boundless ice energy came crashing down, and in an instant, it trapped Kong Shinmu's demon body. Extreme cold energy. Riot. All the power in Bing Yueying's body erupted. She even used the power of her transcendent demonic weapon. With the support of the offensive battle patterns, the power of extreme frost in her body was instantly transferred to Jiang Shenwu's 16-winged heavenly fiend celestial body through the chaotic extreme ice chains. The entire arena was filled with ice, and a storm was brewing. The mixed element extreme ice chains that were entangling Kong Shinmu's demon body were completely shattered, and boundless ice energy exploded. The shattered ice energy even seeped into the void, and corroded the body of Kong Shinmu's demon body. Profound of the heavenly demon god. Abyss of the heavenly demon god's wings. Kong Shinmu, facing the opponent's attack, finally used his defensive demon martial technique. Chapter 55-21. Abyss of Demonic Wings. It was the defensive demonic martial technique that Kong Shinmu cultivated. At that moment, it erupted with boundless and terrifying void power, devouring the power of the mixed element extreme ice chains. Previously, when fighting against Taba Zhantian, Kong Shinmu had already used this move. Now that he used it again, the void power erupted from the 16 demonic wings and instantly crushed Bing Yueying's mixed element extreme ice chains. I have already broken through to the Transcendent God Stage 3. My basic strength is already twice as strong as before. A mere Transcendent God Stage 4 opponent can no longer threaten me. Kong Shinmu was very certain of this. Bing Yueying's strength was not weak, but it was at most similar to Taba Zhantian. Before he broke through, he could already defeat Taba Zhantian. Now that he had broken through to the next stage, he was an existence that could crush Taba Zhantian. Demonic Wings Tornado, explode! The 16 wings behind Kong Shinmu whistled, bringing with them surging demonic aura tornadoes. The demonic aura that filled the sky gathered into several tornadoes, suppressing the cold aura in the arena. Extreme Frost Nation. Boundless cold aura surged out of Bing Yueying's demonic body. Frost cracks appeared in the surrounding void. Facing Kong Shinmu's demonic wings tornado, Bing Yueying gritted her teeth and resisted. The frost crumbled as she tried to freeze the demonic aura tornadoes that filled the sky. However, Kong Shinmu's strength was too strong. Even though Bing Yueying had already erupted with her strongest battle power, she still could not resist the waves of demonic wings tornado. The 16 wings that formed the demonic wings tornado crushed all the frost along the way, finally suppressing Bing Yueying's demonic body. Being enveloped by the boundless pressure, Bing Yueying gritted her teeth and tried to hold on, but she could not hold on any longer. Just one move. Jiang Shenwu's demonic wing tornado was enough to make her completely unable to withstand it. In the end, she could only admit defeat and admit defeat. I admit defeat. Feeling the terrifying pressure, Bing Yueying knew that she could only admit defeat. She was somewhat unwilling. Why did he meet such an opponent? She was actually forced to admit defeat in the third round. She was only at the 4th level of the Transcendent God. Even if she had the right to challenge, it would be very difficult for her to succeed in the end. Therefore, her ranking basically ended here. Damn it! I originally planned to bring glory to the clan, but I didn't expect. Bing Yueying could only leave the stage regretfully. Kong Shinmu returned victorious. The result of this battle was within the expectations of most people. After all, Kong Shinmu's combat strength was too strong, completely exceeding his cultivation by 2 levels. As for Bing Yueying, she could be considered to be rather strong within the Bing Imperial clan. In fact, she had always been second only to the Bing Yueying Silk. He was seen as the second trump card of the Bing tribe's rise. Unfortunately, maybe it was because Bing Yueying was too young. If she was 2 years older, she would be able to soar into the sky in this year's ranking competition. However, Bing Yueying isn't that old. She can still participate in the next ranking competition. When the next ranking competition comes, I'm afraid it will be Bing Yueying's time to reign supreme. Everyone sighed with emotion. Bing Yueying was one of the youngest amongst the experts participating in the ranking competition. Of course, Xueqi and Xueqi weren't that old either. They could also participate in the next ranking competition. But in comparison, Bing Yueying was stronger than the 2 girls. No matter what, Kong Shinmu was more concerned about the following battle. Xueqi against Tuoba Shui. Countless people wanted to see this battle. They were extremely curious. What method would Tuoba Shui use to humiliate Xueqi? Xueqi was a beauty of the Su royal family. Once she was humiliated by an expert of the Tuoba family, she would lose face. But the Su royal family couldn't avoid the battle. That would be even more embarrassing. Of course, most of them were thinking that this battle should end when the time was right. Let's see how Tuoba Shui would humiliate Xueqi before she admitted defeat. This was a little difficult. After a few battles, it was finally Xueqi's turn to fight. Sister Xueqi, you can do it. Xueqi cheered for Xueqi. Xueqi nodded. She was extremely beautiful and her expression was solemn. She was originally very nervous. After all, she knew very well what kind of person Tuoba Shui was. But she didn't expect that Kong Shinmu would give her a way to deal with it. She wasn't sure if this method would work. But it was her last resort. If she wanted to last long enough on the stage and then admit defeat, she could only rely on the method that Kong Xinmu mentioned. Tuoba royal family. In their seats. Tuoba Xue stood up. His tall and sturdy body, coupled with his cold expression, made him seem a bit frightening, and the hint of a sneer in his eyes let others know that he would not easily let go of the chance to humiliate the Su dynasty. A mere super demonic god level 2. This time, I'll let the Su royal family have a good time. Tuoba Xue had waited for this moment for a long time. In this ranking competition, he gambled 2 of the royal family's heaven and earth sacred treasures in order to obtain the Su royal family's women. And now, he could directly humiliate Su Yi on the stage. Brother Xue, this match is up to you. Let the Su royal family have a good look at our strength. That's right, let this girl understand the manliness of our Tuoba family men. Haha. In the Tuoba royal family, everyone laughed loudly, without the slightest worry. They couldn't be clearer about Tuoba Xue's strength. He definitely wouldn't lose to Su Yi. This girl was only super god level 2. Compared to Tuoba Xue, the difference was too great. She was simply not Tuoba Xue's opponent. What everyone was more concerned about was, how many moves could Su Yi withstand under Tuoba Xue's hands? If she couldn't even withstand one move, would she directly admit defeat? If that was the case, it wouldn't be fun. Don't worry, I have a way to prevent her from admitting defeat. Haha. Tuoba Xue coldly laughed out loud. He had a special method that could prevent Su Yi from admitting defeat. That was to make her shut her mouth. He cultivated a special demonic martial technique that could make people shut their mouths. At certain times, it had a miraculous effect. Now, it finally came in handy. If Su Yi couldn't open her mouth to admit defeat, wouldn't that mean that she would be at his mercy? He could even touch her from head to toe in front of everyone. Both sides, enter the arena. Following the declaration of a demon god clan elder, Tuoba Xue and Su Yi stood up and stepped into the arena. Tuoba Xue looked at Su Yi as though he was looking at a sheep that had no ability to resist. Su Yi didn't seem to be afraid. She stood gracefully in the arena and looked at Tuoba Xue, as though thinking about how to deal with this situation. In reality, she had already thought of this. Chapter 55-22. In the arena, Tuoba Xue suddenly exploded and transformed into a chaotic heavenly fire demon god. Endless earth fire burst out from his feet. It turned into a pool of magma and condensed into fire snakes that swept toward Su Yi. Seeing this, Su Yi directly transformed into a 16-winged heavenly demon god. Black demonic aura bloomed from his wings and turned into a layer of black demonic shield. Heavenly demon divine wing shield. A layer of heavenly demon divine wing shield flashed with black demonic aura and blocked Tuoba Xue's fire snakes. Suddenly it exploded. The fire gods exploded like magma, and countless flames collapsed and scattered in all directions. But the heavenly demon divine wing shield actually blocked the opponent's attack. Hee. I haven't used my demonic martial technique yet. Tuoba Xue sneered. He didn't even use his demonic martial technique, and just casually released a pool of magma fire snakes, which made Su Yi so nervous. Then he took a step forward, and endless demonic aura flames erupted from the surroundings, even burning the surrounding void. Forbidden bone smelting domain. A terrifying power erupted from his chaotic heavenly fire demon god body. Following that, the boundless flames devoured the surrounding space and incinerated the sound waves that were being emitted. Even sound was burned. Under this terrifying supreme divine demon martial technique, no sound could be transmitted to the outside world. In other words, even if Su Yi wanted to admit defeat now, it would be very difficult to do so. She could only let Tuoba Xue humiliate her. Oh no! Su Jiyu and Su Er's expressions changed slightly. If they did not stop this from happening, what was about to happen would probably be unforgettable for Su Yi for the rest of her life. It would become a nightmare in her heart. But Kong Xinmu suddenly stood up and said, "Believe in her, she can do it." He looked at the arena and saw that Su Yi was not flustered, but remembered a technique that he had told her. That technique could completely restrain Tuoba Xue. Even if it could not defeat Tuoba Xue, it was more than enough to resist Tuoba Xue's attack. The supreme divine demon martial technique, Forbidden Bone Smelting Domain, could not last forever. When its effect disappeared, Xueqi could calmly choose to admit defeat. Can she really do it? Xueqi was a little doubtful. He was very worried about Xueqi. Su Jiyu glanced at the scene and nodded, saying, "That child is not panicking. It seems that he has some countermeasures. Let's wait and see." Xueqi could only sit down. He looked at the scene nervously. Xueqi did not panic when faced with the transcendent divine demonic martial technique, melting bones forbidden sound domain. She calmly recalled what Kong Shinmu had told her before. Although the chaotic Skyfire Fian Celestial's attacks were violent, it had a significant weakness. That was, the source of its power of inheritance came from the ground. If they left the ground, the might of the Chaos Heavenly Fire Fian Celestial's various fiendish martial techniques would be reduced by at least half. This was also the reason why the Tuoba clan rarely left the demon god Great World to venture outside. If they were to fight in the void, the chaotic Skyfire Fian Celestials would not be able to be unleashed perfectly. Although they are called the chaotic Skyfire Fiend Celestial, in reality, the source of the demon god race's inheritance is really just an Earthfire Fiend Celestial. The Fiend Celestial ancestor knew this Earthfire Fiend Celestial long ago. Although it is very strong, as long as we find a way to get it to leave the ground, it will be much weaker. In that case, how could they get Tuoba Xue to leave the ground? Xueqi also had a lot of ideas. When the terrifying melting bones forbidden sound domain appeared, Xueqi directly unleashed all his strength. He had mastered the 14-wing combat cultivation law, and a violent pitch-black demonic aura burst out. Demonic Wings Tornado. She had also cultivated this transcendent divine demonic martial technique. Endless demonic aura formed a hurricane that swept towards Tuoba Xue's feet. Tuoba Xue's face darkened, as if he had discovered something. "Humph. You want to attack me with a mere demonic wings tornado?" Tuoba Xue snorted coldly. He lifted his leg and a stream of lava sprang up from under his feet, condensing into a terrifying pillar of fire that rushed towards the demonic wings tornado, instantly destroying the demonic aura hurricane. But Su Ye's attack target was not him. It was beneath his feet. Furthermore, he didn't want to rely on the demonic wings tornado, but the demonic god's wings abyss. This defensive transcendent divine demonic martial technique was used by Kong Shinmu to defend himself. He created void abysses to devour all the energy that attacked him. However, Xueqi was different. She created void abysses, and under the cover of the demonic wings tornado, she headed straight for Tuoba Xue's feet. These void abysses immediately erupted and separated Tuoba Xue from the entire ground. Tuoba Xue's primal chaos heavenly fire demon god body felt as if it had been smacked in the head. It immediately lost its connection with the ground. Furthermore, Su Ye's demonic wings abyss had an extremely wide range. In an instant, it covered the entire wrestling ring and separated the entire ground. The void abysses bloomed with pitch-black and serene colors, causing Tuoba Xue to be a little dumbfounded. What was going on? Xueqi actually used the void abysses to separate his connection with the ground. Such a method was almost unheard of. However, Tuoba Motian's face sank. This old man obviously knew the weakness of his Tuoba royal family's inheritance. However, he never expected that this weakness seemed to be grasped by an outsider. As it was called the Primal Chaos Heavenly Fire Demon God, no one would have thought that their Tuoba royal family's inheritance would have such a close relationship with the ground. How did this girl named Xueqi know about it? Was it a coincidence? Or was it someone who told her? Tuoba Motian was shocked. As for Tuoba Xue, he felt his strength weakening, but he wasn't too worried. His face only sank. This bit of weakening wouldn't cause him to lose. However, if he wanted to deal with Xueqi, it wouldn't be so easy. Exploding Fire Lava Mountain. Tuoba Xue suddenly charged over. His entire body was burning with scarlet flames. It condensed into an erupting volcano in midair and attacked Xueqi. The power of this attack was extremely overbearing. It was even like a small sun that exploded in an instant, emitting boundless heat. The entire mountain was burned to nothingness, turning into the purest molten flames that fell toward Xueqi. Dodge! Xueqi felt the immense power contained in this exploding fire lava mountain. The black devil wings behind her flapped and instantly tore through the void. She flashed to the other side of the wrestling ring. However, just as she dodged Tuoba Xue's attack, Tuoba Xue's terrifying power landed at her previous location. Chapter 55-23. Xueqi condensed all his power into an exploding lava mountain and smashed it down. The place where Xueqi was originally standing was the weakest part of the void abyss. Hence, when the exploding lava mountain smashed down, it shattered the void abyss on the spot. The frightening power exploded in an instant, as if a volcano had completely collapsed. Endless lava poured into every corner of the arena. Xueqi's chaotic heavenly fire demon god landed on the ground of the arena, once again becoming one with the earth. Using the void abyss to isolate me? I'm thinking too much. Xueqi was like a demonic martial god. His entire body was filled with the power of lava. Flames billowed from his body, and the blazing heat could melt the entire arena. Xueqi silently watched all of this. Xueqi was indeed Xueqi. He had actually destroyed her heavenly demon wings abyss with one move. It seemed that she still had to use the method that Kong Shinmu had suggested. Create an alternate dimension. As Xueqi's heavenly demon wings fluttered, her pitch-black demon god body seemed to be enveloped by waves of void energy. Terrifying power rose and fell, condensing into an empty space in front of her. This space of nothingness was a door to a different space. She had a rather deep understanding of the spatial attribute void energy. She casually sketched out a door to an alternate dimension. Then she stepped into it. Her fiend celestial body disappeared right in front of her eyes, entering the alternate dimension. This scene caused the expressions of many in the arena to change. What did Xueqi mean by this? Did she want Xueqi to enter the alternate dimension to fight her? But there was no point in that. Moreover, the alternate dimension was not stable. If the power of both sides was too strong, it was very likely that the alternate dimension would collapse. Moreover, in the alternate dimension, it was impossible for the outside world to know what was happening. If she encountered danger, no one could save her. In the arena, if Xueqi wanted to kill Xueqi, it was absolutely impossible. After all, the experts of the major clans and royalty were all present. How could they let someone kill her in public? But in the alternate dimension, it was hard to say. Humph. Upon seeing this, Xueqi's eyes flickered with disdain. His original intention was to humiliate Xueqi in the arena in front of everyone. However, it seemed that Xueqi had already thought of a way to deal with him. You want to isolate my connection with the earth in a different dimension? You think too much. In the alternate dimension, there are some methods that I can use without any scruples. It'll be easier for me to hold you in my palm. He could try to shatter the entire alternate dimension, but that would take a lot of time. In his opinion, if he were to spend too much time on Xueqi, then it wouldn't be worth it. It would be fine if he could humiliate Xueqi, but the key was that Xueqi was hiding in a different dimension, so he couldn't humiliate him even if he wanted to. Therefore, they had to chase Xueqi out of the alternate dimension as soon as possible. If he wanted to destroy the alternate dimension, the fastest way was to do it from the inside. Therefore, Xueqi had to enter the alternate dimension. His fiend celestial body brought with it a wave of fluttering flames. Like an erupting volcano, he charged towards the alternate dimension. Suddenly, he crashed into the strange space. No one knew how the situation would develop in the alternate dimension. Among all the spectators, only experts at Xueqi's level could detect the situation in the alternate dimension. Even so, if something really happened in there, it would be difficult for them to intervene. They were too strong. Once they intervened, it was very likely that the alternate dimension would collapse prematurely, putting both of them in danger. Finally, after the time it took for a joss stick to burn, the alternate dimension collapsed. Terrifying power burst forth and bloomed in all directions. Xueqi's 16-winged heavenly fiend celestial body hurriedly retreated from the alternate dimension and stomped on the ground of the arena. Pitch-black demonic chi instantly exploded, forming an air current that spread throughout the arena and stopped the retreating momentum. As for Xueqi, it seemed that he was unable to take down Xueqi. His chaotic heavenly fire fiend celestial body was like a meteorite falling from the sky. His entire body was surrounded by flames as he flew out from the alternate dimension and landed with a loud bang. Both sides are safe and sound. Everyone was stunned by this outcome. That Xueqi was actually so strong? It was too unbelievable. Originally, everyone had thought that this would be a one-sided battle. They were only curious as to how much humiliation Xueqi would suffer. But now, both sides had probably exchanged dozens of blows, but Xueqi was completely unscathed. He was not injured at all. It could be seen that both sides' combat strength in the alternate dimension could be said to be evenly matched. In that alternate dimension, Tuobashi wanted to break the alternate dimension, so he used most of his power to break the alternate dimension. So with his remaining power, it's normal that he can't win against Xueqi. But now, it seems that Xueqi can admit defeat. Everyone realized the crux of the situation. Just as everyone had said, after Xueqi came out, she straightened her body and said in a low voice, "I admit defeat." She admitted defeat. She found an opportunity to admit defeat, and only after fighting with Tuobashi for a long time did she calmly admit defeat. She did not show any signs of weakness at all. Everyone knew that Tuobashi might not have used his full strength. He might not even have used his transcendent demon weapon. But Xueqi was only at Transcendent God level 2. And he, Tuobashi, was at Transcendent God level 5, and one of the most popular experts in this ranking competition. He actually could not crush Xueqi? This was truly shocking. And after Xueqi admitted defeat, she retreated to the Su royal family seating area. On the Su royal family side, many of the younger generation could not believe that Xueqi had the strength to fight against Tuobashi for so long. Although Xueqi would definitely lose if they continued fighting, it would not be an ugly defeat. At least it was much better than Tuoba Zhantian of the Tuoba family. Tuoba Zhantian had been crushed by Kong Shinmu in a few moves in the arena. Even the Transcendent God weapon had been completely suppressed, unable to break through Kong Shinmu's blockade. And now, Xueqi had actually blocked Tuoba Shue's attack, preventing Tuoba Shue from humiliating her. This scene was completely out of everyone's expectations. "Sister Xueqi, that was amazing." Xueqi stood up to welcome Xuye's return. Without a doubt, this was a victory. Although Xueqi had admitted defeat, to Tuobashi, this was already a defeat. And Tuobashi's defeat was naturally the Su royal family's victory. In terms of points, the Tuoba family had gone up another level. Chapter 55-24. No one expected that this battle, which was supposed to be Tuobashi's performance, would end up like this. One had to know that winning this battle was not Tuobashi's goal. There was no way he would lose to Xueqi, a Transcendent God Stage 2 girl. However, why did he lose so miserably? With a gloomy face, Baku left the arena and returned to the seat of the Taba clan. He did not expect Xueqi to be able to target his characteristics and move the battle to the alternate dimension. If it was in the alternate dimension, he could easily defeat Xueqi, but that would be meaningless. He wanted to break through the alternate dimension and return to the arena to decide the victor and humiliate Xueqi at the same time. However, what he did not expect was, in the alternate dimension, his connection with the earth became very weak and he could only use less than 80% of his usual strength. Moreover, he needed to spend most of his energy to attack the alternate dimension in order to break it. This allowed Xueqi to harass him with all her might. To Xueqi, she only needed to stall for enough time. At that time, she would be able to admit defeat. Of course, she did not think that she could defeat Tuobashi. Even if Tuobashi's strength was weakened in this alternate dimension, it could not be weakened by that much. Under normal circumstances, she would not even be able to take a single blow from Tuobashi. Now, she could use this opportunity to harass Tuobashi and stall for time. This was the method that Kong Shinmu had told her. She would try to get Tuobashi to enter the alternate dimension she had created. When Tuobashi broke the alternate dimension, it would be time for her to admit defeat. Without a doubt, Kong Shinmu's method was correct. Apart from this, there was no other way for Xueqi to admit defeat without a scratch. The power of the Forbidden Bone smelting domain engulfed and annihilated all sound. Even Xuer and the others would not be able to hear Xueqi admit defeat. However, after staying in the alternate dimension for a long time, the Forbidden Bone smelting domain had not been rebuilt. Xueqi had enough time to admit defeat. Just like that, the outcome of this battle was decided. As for Xueqi, she was defeated in this battle. Her opponent was a Transcendent God Stage 5 expert from the Li Tian clan. Although Xueqi was very strong and could erupt with all 14 wings combat cultivation laws, to be honest, her battle prowess lacked a certain sharpness. When fighting against the Li Tian clan's experts, Xueqi could only defend passively. Soon, his defense was broken and he was forced to admit defeat. Fortunately, The Li Tian clan had expressed their goodwill towards Kong Xinmu, so they wouldn't make things difficult for Xueqi. They were even careful not to harm her. Kong Xinmu naturally kept this in mind. Next, Xueqi and Xu Ye's journey ended. In the entire Su royal family, including Kong Xinmu, Xu Gui, and the others, there were 9 people left. In a normal ranking competition, there were not many people left after the 2nd and 4th round. In the end, there were only 64 people left. Of the 64 people, 9 were from the Su royal family, 8 from the Taba clan, 9 from the Li Tian clan. There was also another person from the Bing imperial clan, the Frozen Moon Silk. At this point, other than the Frozen Moon Silk, the rest of the Bing imperial clan were all defeated and eliminated. Although Bing Yueying was liked by many clans and obtained the additional right to challenge, there was no doubt that the Bing imperial clan's hope was basically on the Frozen Moon Silk. Now that the Bing imperial clan finally produced 2 geniuses, many clans and royalty naturally wanted to befriend them, especially since the Frozen Moon Silk was one of the 4 great beauties of the young generation. There would definitely be people willing to give her face and give Bing Yueying the additional right to challenge. As for whether the additional right to challenge was useful, that was another matter. Seeing this scene, Su Tianhao was green with envy. Unfortunately, he wasn't a beauty. Moreover, even if he was a woman, due to his identity as a member of the Su royal family, there probably wouldn't be that many people who would give him the additional right to challenge. The Su royal family, Taba clan, and Li Tian royal family, these 3 royal families took up a small half of the remaining 64 people. The 3 royal families' strength could be seen from this. However, at this point, those who were still present were basically existences at the Super Demon God level 5. Only Kong Xinmu and 2 other geniuses at the Super God level 4 were still present. Without a doubt, no one dared to look down on Kong Xinmu. Right now, Kong Xinmu's fighting strength was already acknowledged by everyone. Everyone wanted to know his following performance. How far could he go? Could he lead the Su royal family to obtain first place in this ranking competition? Up until now, the Taba royal family's performance was a bit unsatisfactory. It wasn't quite the same as what they expected. Not only was Taba Zhantian unexpectedly eliminated by Kong Xinmu's strength, even Taba Xue couldn't defeat Su Yi cleanly, let alone humiliate her. These were all accidents. They were all mistakes. For the Taba royal family, it was extremely disadvantageous. However, this doesn't matter. Right now, the Su royal family's biggest pillar is that Kong Xinmu. As long as Kong Xinmu is defeated, the Su royal family is nothing to be afraid of. Taba Xue could already tell that the Su royal family's main force was Kong Xinmu. The 4th round's lot drawing was done very quickly. Taba Tianyu, your opponent is Kong Xinmu, Taba Xue quickly said with some excitement. Taba Tianyu was the Taba clan's number 2 in this competition. His strength was second only to Taba Xue. This person was extremely strong. In terms of talent, he even surpassed Taba Xue. Especially in the cultivation of super god demon martial skills, his comprehension was extremely strong. If not for Taba Xue's good birth, the strongest youth in this generation of the Taba royal family would very likely be Taba Tianyu. This was a young man with sword-like eyebrows. He wore a fiery red robe. Taba Tianyu. He had a cold personality and did not pursue fame or fortune. He only valued strength and opponents. Very good. Kong Xinmu is very strong. I want to personally defeat him. Only then can I prove my strength. Taba Tianyu said with a cold smile. He looked at Kong Xinmu from afar. Kong Xinmu's image was reflected in his eyes. His expression was rather provocative. And at this moment, Kong Xinmu also knew that his opponent was Taba Tianyu. He was naturally not familiar with this person. But as long as it was someone from the Taba clan, to Kong Xinmu, they were not too strong an opponent. Even if it was Taba Xue, the current Kong Xinmu was not worried. After all, his current strength far surpassed ordinary people. The existence of the formless weapon Chen Xing allowed him to explode with top-notch strength in the demon god clan's inheritance. Moreover, he had not even used his devouring power. Once he used his devouring power, there was no one present who could be his opponent. The 4th round began. Chapter 55-25. Tuoba Tianyu was ranked second among the younger generation of the Tuoba royal family participating in the ranking tournament. His strength was second only to Taba Xue among the younger generation of the Taba clan. His expression was cold as he flashed into the arena. As he watched Kong Shinmu slowly fly in, his eyes revealed a strong desire to fight. He would definitely win against this person. As for Kong Shinmu, he flew into the arena and observed Taba Tianyu. This person's aura is strong and not weaker than Taba Xue. However, he is not as good as Taba Xue in terms of supreme demon weapon. Taba Xue's supreme demon weapon was a top-notch supreme demon weapon. Although it was not as good as Kong Shinmu's formless weapon, Taba Xue's supreme demon weapon was already the best in the Taba clan. It should be pointed out that Kong Shinmu's formless weapon, Chen Xing, was the only one in the entire Dragon God's world. To compare it with the formless weapon, the supreme demon weapon had not even been created yet. Of course, a demon weapon was only one aspect of a person's strength. Even if Taba Tianyu's supreme demon weapon was not top-notch, it was not far from it. Otherwise, he would not have become the second strongest among the younger generation of the Taba clan. Kong Shinmu, I hope you will not disappoint me. Taba Tianyu snorted coldly. You too. Kong Shinmu did not bother to say more. He transformed into a 16-winged heavenly demon god. Waves of pitch-black demonic aura began to spread throughout the arena. With the appearance of his demon god body, the arena seemed to have become a demon god's residence. Chaotic spiritual cultivation field. Taba Tianyu transformed into a chaotic heavenly fire demon god. His entire demon god body rumbled forward. He actually had an extremely strong physical body. Endless crimson flames bloomed from his body. Along with his fist, he punched at Kong Shinmu. A chaotic spiritual cultivation field was formed with this punch. Endless fiery red demon god power enveloped Kong Shinmu like purgatory. Come on! Let's see if my spirit refinement domain can break through your heavenly demon wings abyss. Tuoba Tianyu's entire body was burning with flames. Even his eyes were filled with endless flames. He roared, and the surrounding flames accompanied his fist as it smashed down on Kong Shinmu. However, Kong Shinmu did not intend to use the abyss of the demonic wings. This method had been exposed too many times, and it was easy for others to see through it. After all, it was an abyss condensed from void demonic chi. Once the opponent attacked it with the power of the void, it would be easy to destroy it. Therefore, Kong Shinmu changed to another method. Just like Tuoba Tianyu, he charged forward with his fiend celestial body. Demonic wings body refinement. Xiao Chen cultivated a paramount sage body tempering transcendent divine demon martial technique. He used the demonic chi of the 16-winged heavenly demon god's body to temper his body, giving him a demonic god's body that surpassed ordinary people. At this moment, in the face of Tuoba Tianyu's chaotic spirit refinement domain, Kong Shinmu unleashed the unparalleled strength of his fiend celestial body. Demonic chi encircled him. The endless flames surrounded Kong Shinmu, almost completely refining his fiend celestial body. But then, a pitch-black demonic chi surged out from within Kong Shinmu's fiend celestial body. The 16-winged heavenly demon god on his back suddenly spread out. Then, a giant fist of demonic chi smashed out. The entire chaotic divine refinement domain was shattered by the terrifying demonic aura brought about by this punch. At the same time, Kong Shinmu's 16-winged heavenly demon god had already charged forward and grabbed Tuoba Tianyu's fiend celestial body by the shoulder. Break for me! Kong Shinmu poured all his demonic chi into this hand and instantly crushed Tuoba Tianyu's fiend celestial body's shoulder into pieces. Ah! Tuoba Tianyu took a few large steps back, causing the entire arena to tremble. Endless scarlet flames exploded in all directions and dispersed from his fiend celestial body's shoulder. Strong, so strong. Tuoba Tianyu clenched his teeth. His fiery fiend celestial eyes emitted a strange glow. He was looking forward to facing such a powerful opponent. Kong Shinmu did not disappoint him. Celestial Pole Reversal Furnace. Tuoba Tianyu's fiend celestial legs stomped heavily on the arena like giant pillars of fire. Following that, terrifying flames rose from all directions. Celestial Pole Reversal Furnace was a terrifying supreme fiend celestial martial technique. It was an extremely powerful technique that he had cultivated to the extreme sage realm. At this moment, within the range of the Celestial Pole Reversal Furnace, Kong Shinmu and Tuoba Tianyu felt like they were being roasted in lava. However, Tuoba Tianyu's combat strength increased because of this. The power of the celestial pole reversal furnace allowed any of his techniques to explode with greater might. On the other hand, Kong Shinmu was constantly being suppressed within the celestial pole reversal furnace. It was as if they were trapped in an alchemy cauldron. Their surroundings were filled with extremely hot flames that could refine spirits. Terrifying heat waves constantly surged over. Even a piece of steel would be easily melted into molten iron in the celestial pole reversal furnace. Ferocious hammer. Tuoba Tianyu suddenly erupted, and his giant fiend celestial body descended from the sky. Although his shoulder was crushed by Kong Shinmu, the chaotic heavenly fire fiend celestial body was made of lava and could directly recover with the power of lava. He raised his giant flaming fist and smashed it toward Kong Shinmu. This punch even carried a portion of the surrounding celestial pole reversal furnace's power, and condensed it on his flaming fist. This attack shattered the void. One punch. It landed on the shoulder of Kong Shinmu's fiend celestial body. Tuoba Tianyu wanted an eye for an eye. Since Kong Shinmu had shattered his shoulder, he wanted to shatter Kong Shinmu's shoulder as well. Only then could he prove that he did not lose to Kong Shinmu. However, Kong Shinmu's fiend celestial body caused Tuoba Tianyu's expression to change drastically. His punch even carried the terrifying power of the celestial pole reversal furnace. However, it was as if he had smashed into a chaos stone wall. There was no feeling of anything shattering. Defensive battle runes. Kong Shinmu's formless weapon, Chen Xing, had already transformed into defensive battle runes that were attached to Kong Shinmu's fiend celestial body. Under the enhancement of countless defensive battle runes, Kong Shinmu's fiend celestial body became even more terrifying. His body was a level higher than Tuoba Tianyu's. Chaos Heavenly Fire Fiend Disc. Tuoba Tianyu rapidly retreated. He was truly shocked by the unmoving Kong Shinmu. However, he quickly retreated and released his transcendent divine weapon, the Chaos Heavenly Fire Fiend Disc. This was a lava fiend celestial weapon that looked like a millstone. Endless lava was constantly burned and roasted within the Chaos Heavenly Fire Fiend Disc, becoming stronger and stronger through the cycle of samsara. Chaos Flames Incinerate. Tuoba Tianyu released the Chaos Heavenly Fire Fiend Disc and gathered all the power in his body. His fiery eyes were filled with boundless seriousness. The primal Chaos Flames Incinerate was his strongest technique. Chapter 55-26. Chaotic Flames Incineration. Chaotic Heavenly Fire Demonic Disc. Extreme Sage Supreme Divine Demon Martial Technique and the Transcendent Divine Demon Weapon that had been fused with several powerful dazzling materials erupted with their strongest power at this moment. The surrounding void seemed to be cracking open. Endless streams of magma gushed out of the cracked space and drowned the entire space. This was the Chaotic Flames Incineration. With the enhancement of the Transcendent Divine Demon Weapon, it enveloped the entire arena. The lava was like a waterfall, pouring down on Jiang Shunwu's demon god body. The terrifying temperature was almost enough to burn his demon god body into a liquid state. It's time. Void Sky Boundary Rock. Kong Shinmu calmly attacked. The Void Sky Boundary Rock that had been fused into the formless Chen Star armament burst with dazzling light at this moment. The Void Sky Boundary Stone had created an extremely powerful defensive Void Sky Boundary formation. Furthermore, the stronger Jiang Shunwu's physical body was, the stronger the Void Sky Boundary formation would be. There was no doubt that Kong Shinmu's demon god body had reached a terrifying level of physical strength. Even Tuoba Tianyu, who was known for his physical strength, couldn't beat Kong Shinmu in terms of physical strength. This also allowed Jiang Shunwu's Void Sky Boundary Stone to instantly condense into an incomparably terrifying barrier. The surrounding lava poured down, and even though the power that could incinerate the void was unable to break through this layer of Void Sky Boundary Stone, it was directly blocked outside. Demonic Wings Tornado. 9 layers. Kong Shinmu once again unleashed the dazzling material of the formless Chen Star armament, the 33 Heavens Divine Feathers. However, he had just unleashed the power of the 33 Heavens Divine Feathers, so he only had 9 layers of attacks now. Even so, 9 layers of attacks were completely enough. The 16 wings behind him released demonic energy, and condensed into countless demonic energy tornadoes that couldn't be seen with the naked eye. Accompanied by the mighty void, they instantly swept toward Taba Tianyu. Boom! After a crisp sound, Tuoba Tianyu's primal chaos flame incineration was sucked into Kong Shinmu's demonic wings tornado and completely shattered. Even the pouring power of the chaos lava was drawn into the demon chi storm, cut into the tiniest pieces, and lost the extremely high temperature and superpower it should have. Dang! Kong Shinmu remained calm as he took a step forward. Countless demonic wing tornadoes appeared and enveloped Tuoba Tianyu's chaotic heavenly fire fiend celestial body. Amidst the endless howling of the demonic wing tornado, Tuoba Tianyu's chaos skyfire demon god body was instantly lacerated with countless wounds. His entire demon god body was sent flying, looking extremely pathetic. Kong Shinmu wins. Without needing Tuoba Tianyu to admit defeat, the seniors of the demon god race directly announced Kong Shinmu's victory. This was simply a crushing defeat. It was another crushing battle, and it was between Kong Shinmu, a third-level supreme demon god, against Tuoba Tianyu, the second strongest of the Tuoba clan. When this scene appeared, all the experts of the demon god race present were inexplicably shocked. Too strong. Was this the personal disciple of Emperor Shi's divine dragon? It was too unbelievable that there was such a terrifying existence in the world. This was a member of the dragon god race. How long had it been since he switched to cultivating the power of the demon god race? How could he burst out such a terrifying power? His demonic weapon is too strong. And it seems to be the dragon weapon used by the dragon god race. No way? That's the formless weapon. I didn't realize it until now. Finally, there were big shots of the demon god race who noticed Kong Shinmu's supreme demon weapon. Or rather, the formless weapon. This was a dragon weapon and also a demonic weapon. Whether it was the strength of the dragon god race or the demon god race, they could all use this weapon. It was too strong. Even Xueqi was a little jealous of Kong Shinmu. This formless weapon was a good thing. It was a pity that the materials needed to forge the formless weapon were a little difficult to obtain. They could only be obtained in large quantities from some legacy sites. Such opportunities could only be encountered by chance. Of course, the most important thing was that the power of Kong Shinmu's formless weapon was a little terrifying. The materials that were infused with it were also extremely rare in this world. One had to know that Kong Shinmu's materials were all carefully selected. Many of them were exchanged from the legacy sites of Emperor Hua. They were priceless. In fact, such materials could not even be bought in the outside world. For example, Golden Divine Stone, Dark Night God's Feather, Emperor Hua's Sacred Heavenly Rosestone, Void Boundary Stone, and so on. Even the value of Tuoba Tianyu's supreme demon weapon, the Chaotic Heavenly Fire Demonic Plate, was not even comparable to a Void Boundary Stone. This meant that although Kong Shinmu's cultivation was relatively low, with the advantage of the battle weapon, he could already keep pace with a 5th-stage Transcendent God expert, and even crush them. No wonder he's so strong. It's all because the battle weapon is too strong. Is this the reward that this kid received for defeating the Talisman Water Tribe? The dragon gods are really generous. Everyone started to discuss. But in reality, they did not know that the formless weapon, Chen Xing, was considered a reward from the dragon gods. However, the materials for the battle weapon were obtained by Kong Shinmu himself. This formless weapon, Chen Xing, was probably worth as much as a heaven and earth sage-grade item. It could not be bought in the outside world. It was the only battle weapon that belonged to Kong Shinmu. Of course, Kong Shinmu's current combat strength was so strong not only because of the formless weapon. One had to know that he had devoured the original body of the demon god ancestor, and comprehended all the profound meanings of the 16-winged sky demon god. This was the fundamental reason why he was so strong now. Everything else was just icing on the cake. The power of devouring was Kong Shinmu's real trump card. Very quickly, Kong Shinmu returned to his seat. He had already locked in the top 32. And the Su royal family, seeing Kong Shinmu's invincible prowess, were all in a good mood. They saw the hope of the Su royal family obtaining the first place. Defeating Tuoba Tianyu was so easy. When the time comes, he would definitely be able to defeat Tuoba Xue, right? Even now, many people felt that Tuoba Xue was just bluffing and didn't have any strength. Otherwise, how could Xueqi contend with him for so long? From the start of the ranking competition until now, there had already been too many surprises. Su Tianhao's elimination, Kong Shinmu's rise. Tuoba Xue actually couldn't crush Xueqi. Everything seemed to be related to the Su royal family. And at this moment, finally, some clans and royal families were a little worried. Once the Su royal family obtained the first place, they would obtain 2 heaven and earth sage grade items. To the Tuoba royal family, it was like adding snow to snow. Looking at the Su royal family, if they obtained the first place, it would definitely be Kong Shin Mu. Not only did the Su royal family have such a terrifying genius, they could also obtain 2 heaven and earth sage grade items. Simply shocking. Unimaginable. Chapter 55-27. But it seemed that no one could stop this. With Kong Shin Mu's presence in the Su royal family, even if they weren't first, they would be second. And they would most likely not lose to that Tuoba Xue. The battle with Su Yi just now had caused many to doubt Tuoba Xue's battle prowess. Could this kid be a genius that was boasted about? Even Su Yi could contend with him for so long. That battle made people doubt Tuoba Xue's true battle prowess. At this moment, Tuoba Xue could no longer hold it in. He was too furious. I didn't expect Tuoba Tianyu to be no match for him. This guy hid quite a lot. That formless armament was not shown before, but now it seems that he still has the 9-layer gem. Tuoba Xue was a little angry. But this young master's transcendent god armament also has the 9-layer gem. At that time, I'll let him see what true suppression is. Unfortunately, he did not know that Kong Shin Mu's material was not the 9-layer gem. It was 33 heavenly divine feathers. This was a material that was much more powerful than the 9-layer gem stone. It was priceless, and its effects were terrifying. Even though the opening was the same as the 9-layered gem stone, it could only unleash 9 attacks. But if the battle dragged on, the 33 heavenly divine feathers could stack up to 33 attacks. This was many times stronger than the 9-layer gem. After Kong Shin Mu won, Tuoba Tianyu left the arena. However, this person's battle prowess was extraordinary. In the end, he still obtained the right to challenge. Unfortunately, to Tuoba Tianyu, what he wanted was the right to challenge. No. What he wanted was victory. He longed for a powerful opponent, longed for victory. But the reality was that he had lost. Kong Shin Mu was too strong. Once the 9-layer gem appeared, the demonic wing tornado exploded. It was difficult for him to block. Moreover, the physical aspect that he was most proud of had been crushed by Kong Shin Mu. Was this personal disciple of Emperor Shi's divine dragon really so talented? This was too terrifying. In the past, Tuoba Tianyu had always felt that he was the most talented. Not just in the demon god race but in the entire great world. He didn't expect that Kong Shin Mu would be able to defeat him. Tianyu, don't be discouraged. Tuoba Matian patted Zhang Yi's shoulder and had a gloomy expression as he consoled him. This Kong Shin Mu is a rare genius of the dragon god race. It is very normal that you are not his match. This kid has already created countless shocking feats in the past. It's just that I didn't expect his demon god clan's cultivation to be so tyrannical. To Tuoba Tianyu, these words not only did not have any effect on consoling him, but they instead provoked him. What he was most concerned about was that Kong Shin Mu was only at Transcendent God Stage 3. And he was a level 5 Transcendent God. He had actually lost to Kong Shin Mu despite having such a huge lead in terms of basic strength. This was truly unacceptable to him. But, even if he didn't want to accept the truth, he could only accept it. He raised his head and continued to watch the next battle. But in his opinion, unless it was Tuoba Xue against Kong Shin Mu, there was probably nothing to see in the entire competition. Kong Shin Mu advanced to the top 32. The final 32 were almost all existences at Transcendent God Stage 5, except for Kong Shin Mu. Without reaching Transcendent God Stage 5, it was basically impossible to advance all the way to this level. The Su royal clan had a total of 5 people advance to this round. At the same time, the Tuoba clan and the Litian clan each had 5 people advance to this round. It was considered relatively average. This round, Ice Moon Damask against Kong Shin Mu. Soon, the results of the lots were out. Everyone's expressions changed. Finally, Kong Shin Mu was matched against a competitor for first place, Ice Moon Damask. Previously, Ice Moon Damask had crushed Su Tianhao and won. This had aroused great interest in Ice Moon Damask's strength. In the following matches, Ice Moon Damask continued to crush her opponent. This made it very clear that it wasn't that Su Tianhao wasn't strong enough, but Ice Moon Damask was simply too strong. Even Su Tianhao was crushed by her. Then what kind of strength did this woman possess? It was hard to guess and imagine. As for Jiang Shenwu, he was also a super powerful existence who had continuously created miracles along the way. This was especially so when he fought against Tuoba Tianyu. Not only did he suppress Tuoba Tianyu with his physical body, he even suppressed Tuoba Tianyu with his demonic martial skills. His battle prowess was too terrifying. What would be the result of a battle between these two people? Litian Xiong, Tuoba Shui, Ice Moon Damask, Kong Shinmu. Without a doubt, these four people are the strongest competitors for first place in this ranking competition. Now that Ice Moon Damask and Kong Shinmu have met in advance, who will win? Everyone began to discuss among themselves. Most people hoped that Ice Moon Damask could win. Not only did they not want the Su royal clan to become stronger, but it was also because Ice Moon Damask was one of the four great beauties of the younger generation. In the Demon God clan, she was liked by many of the younger generation. And now, Ice Moon Damask represented the hope of the Bing royal clan. Naturally, there were many clans that hoped that she could lead the Bing royal clan to rise. The Bing royal clan had quite a good relationship with many clans and royal clans. If Ice Moon Damask defeated Kong Shinmu and won, then the future of the Bing royal clan could be expected. However, even if Kong Shinmu won in the end, it did not mean that the Bing royal clan could not rise. The key still depended on the additional right to challenge. With Ice Moon Damask's strength, even if she lost, she would definitely get the additional right to challenge. Then, in the end, she would very likely become the top 3 through the additional right to challenge. On the other hand, if Kong Shinmu lost this battle, the additional right to challenge would most likely not be obtained. Many clans and royal clans did not wish for the Su royal clan to become stronger. And Kong Shinmu was this opportunity. They would not let this opportunity return to the battle. So to Kong Shinmu, in this battle, they could only win, not lose. Of course, the two of them were not the first to fight. This time, the first to fight was Tuoba Shui. His opponent was the second strongest of the Li Tian clan, Li Tianman. Li Tianman's strength was definitely not weak. In the current Li Tian clan's younger generation, he was only inferior to Li Tianxiong, and his position was equivalent to Tuoba Tianyu. Throughout his journey, he had practically swept away all his opponents. There were even rumors that he might not lose even if he fought against Li Tianxiong, but it depended on luck. I didn't think I would fight Tuoba Shui first. If that's the case, then let me experience Tuoba Shui's skills. Ha ha ha. Li Tianman was very forthright. He charged to the center of the wrestling ring and turned into a rock-shattering mountain-shaking demon god. The rock-shattering mountain-shaking demon god's inheritance gave him an extremely strong body. Not to mention, he was the second strongest of the Li Tian royal clan's younger generation, Li Tianman. This Tuoba Shui's strength is too weak. I'm afraid he can't even defeat Li Tianman, right? That's possible. After all, from the situation just now, Tuoba Tianyu was actually crushed by Kong Shinmu. If Tuoba Shui lost to Li Tianman, then it would be a joke. With such strength, he dared to bet with the Su royal clan. Don't say that. If not for the Su royal clan having Kong Shinmu, wouldn't the Tuoba clan have won the bet? Everyone laughed heartily as they discussed. Especially the people of the Li Tian clan, they were not too worried about this battle. They all thought that Tuoba Shui's strength was just a bluff. You're tuning in to the Xueqi's Martial Arts Saga YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.